That's a blue siren. That's the size that you need.
All right, we should be live.
Are we live?
Yes, we should be live.
We are live?
And now we're all moving, which is good.
Oh.
We're not creepy.
Yeah, look at that. There's movement. Woo.
Welcome back, everybody. Sorry for that weird interruption.
Close call.
Yeah, we almost just had a 3-person stream.
And one person.
Yeah, one person just
This is us.
Standing right here.
welcome back. This is chapter 21. Beneath the Veil.
We've come of age.
Yes.
The stream can now legally
We're gonna dive in after we roll our little intro. Anybody have any thoughts, questions, concerns?
No.
No.
Emphatically.
Never.
Is this the first time the sub badges are up, or was that last time?
No,
too? Oh, okay.
I think last time you should have your sub badge. It's a little mushroom,
Cute
little
mushrooms.
Myconid. Yeah, I would have
Swimming.
enjoyed it as well, but now Twitch is doing those weird first things that you can't take off. Instead of a sub badge, it's if you were one of the first people to sub to the channel, you get like this really
you get a
dumb
one.
purple one thing.
Instead of the cute thing we did.
Yeah. Cool.
Just kidding, we love you, Twitch. Don't shut us down.
Thanks.
All right, we're gonna roll that intro, and then we'll dive right into it. Intro ahoy! All right, we're back. They're moving. Oh, Anthony's just very still. Okay, good. I was like,
Please wave.
Don't do that.
Graven? Yeah.
I can see the movement. The movement's there.
Creepy.
Sweet.
So, let me just cue up some nice music. Oh, it should be going.
Hated that.
In chapter 20, the best of bad situations. Saphira's absence signaled an opportunity for the rest of the group to move forward with their plan to steal the Myconid camp map. Things got off to a rocky start, however, when the elf Daldoon picked up on some questionable phrasing, and Erland failed to convince some of the returning hunters that we could provide medical assistance in an attempt to gain access to the tent where we believed the map to be located. Fearing that our window of opportunity was quickly closing, Jillian made a bold move and shoved one of the Redirans to make a scene and draw attention so that Erland could root through the scouts' belongings. Teetering on the brink of a full-scale physical conflict, Graven talked the elves down on the basis of a misunderstanding, and we were able to vacate the camp with map in hand. Giving ourselves an hour or so head start, we found a spot off the road to rest for the evening and pore over the specifics of the drawing. Jillian seemed pleased with the level of detail, though she pointed out that the scouting mission was far from over. Some crucial elements were still missing, like the design of the interior, the number of people working the operation, and who was in charge of distributing any Myconid products that were created there. Reaching the point of exhaustion, we lay down to sleep. But it was hardly free of incidents, as Orba was forced to shoo away an owlbear, and Erland was visited by Daldoon, who tracked the party down after realizing what had been taken. With the Redirans spread so thin, he had little interest in starting fights where he didn't need to. But he pressed Erland to make a promise to try and acquire the name of someone who trades in Myconid extract, so his meager forces could stand a chance as they attempted to find a new home. Morning came, and we continued north until a band of thugs barred our way, led by a mysterious woman who seemed to be accusing us of something. But before we even had a chance to find out what we might have done, the woman used a seeming spell to disguise us as horrifying undead creatures, which caused the thugs to panic and attack us. With Jillian, Graven, and Beezaura holding down the ruffians on the road, Erland and Orba sprinted after the mage who'd taken off into the woods. Using a spell to amplify her speed, it appeared that we were quickly losing ground, but just as her escape seemed imminent, Erland used one of the special powers he'd learned from Blom to warp through a tree and track her down. Believing that keeping the woman alive or interrogating her was too risky and time-consuming, Graven snapped her neck, and we collected her belongings, which included a note that implied she had some kind of connection to Myconid distributors in the area. With that as our only clue, we made the final push to Mukmu's city walls, and Jillian directed us to the lakeside inn where we'd be staying for the coming days as she prepared for our journey to the Shaki Mountains. Beezaura and Orba opted to remain in the inn lobby to wait up for Safira, and as they searched for a quiet spot to sit, we asked ourselves, how was the city being influenced by the newly available Myconid products? What were we going to prioritize in the couple of days we had to ourselves? And what, if anything, were we about to learn of Saphira's little sojourn with Lieutenant Colonel Massive? We find out now on chapter 21 of A Peek Beneath the Veil.
Right?
Hooves on cobblestone clicked through the streets. Behind them, the recurring sound of wheels slowly turning, their purple and black markings now difficult to determine in the dark of night. The driver's iron braces reflect the light of held and hanging lanterns, sort of an easy confidence about him as he zeroes in on the blocky silhouette of the lakeside inn. Peeking through the windows of the carriage with its curtains drawn, we see cushioned interior seats and the wry smile of Lieutenant Colonel Massive as he addresses the half-elf sitting across from him. His adornments have mostly been set aside, eschewing formalities for comfort on a long journey that's led him to this point. We're coming up on the inn. It feels good, doesn't it? To know that you're going to be on the right side of history.
I'm not sure we know that yet, but yeah, hopefully we're on the right side of history.
I am confident. We've got a lot of work to do, but I think you're the right person for the job. We are going to take him down. I cannot stress to you the extreme confidential nature of this task.
Yeah,
Everybody wants to trust their friends,
Yeah.
but he has ears all over. The smallest suspicion could put your life in danger. You realize that?
I understand.
Good. We're coming up. I will be staying at the Broken Crown building. It's in Mukmu, at least for a day. But unless there's an emergency, I suggest you don't make your way over there.
I won't plan on it.
Excellent. Well, it's obviously in my best interest that you return from your mission alive, so I wish you good luck.
Thank you. I wish. Well, I hope I have good luck too. Haven't had so much over the past few days.
I think our fortunes are about to change.
Oh, I certainly hope they will.
And you feel the slowing of the carriage as it kind of pulls up to the end. I'm going to forego my formalities of opening the carriage for you in the effort of not being seen.
It's alright. Didn't expect the formality. And I'm gonna kind of gather my things and can I kind of get out of the carriage and I'm gonna kind of give him like a little like, you know, respectful like
Sure.
nod.
And he
So,
kind of does in return.
Yeah. And just sort of I didn't want to do that in like a super before, just kind of like a nod and
Yeah,
walk
sure.
towards the end.
And you get out, and the carriage kind of bumps a little bit as you get
Yeah.
out. And you move towards the inn. You can hear behind you, without sort of looking back, the sort of turning and as the carriage kind of turns its way around and starts to move in the other direction, you hear the sound sort of moving faintly away. And Saphira pushes open the door to the lakeside inn. And immediately the warm glow of the interior washes over you. A couple of unfamiliar guests are seated in the lobby area. One has a quill in hand. They seem to be copying sort of one letter to another on a table. Another pair talking quietly, sort of chuckling as they reminisce about something. And two others are receiving a room key from the man who looks to be sort of working the front desk. And perched on stools near the kitchen area, you see the familiar faces of Beezaura and Orba, whose vigilance at sort of whipping around to see the front door every time it opens is finally paid off, and they spot you immediately as you step in.
Orba smacks a stool like next to her that's available.
I'm gonna kind of walk up and sit down.
You made it.
I made it, yeah.
Before
How was the trip?
It was alright. Honestly, not as eventful as I expected, but yeah. How did it go? Do you have the map?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And how did you acquire this map?
We stole it.
Hate to say it, but
No,
you were
but
wrong.
But apparently Daldoon knows. But he's okay with it, actually.
I find that remarkably hard to believe.
Well, Erland had a private conversation with them while we were all asleep, but he said that
that
the
doesn't make me
trade
feel very
was-
comfortable at all, actually. Erland had a conversation with him when all of you were asleep. Why?
because Daldoon came and found us, and Erland was apparently really bad at his watch, so Daldoon took him away. They had a conversation. Apparently, he's okay with the trade as long as we destroy the Myconid camp, which is what we're going to try to do.
Basically, yes. How was your trip?
Orba, slides a pint that she ordered for her ahead of time. Hello.
Oh, cheers. I gotta sing this.
It's a little warm. It seems like they've had it out waiting for you
With
for a little
great
while.
relief.
We've been here a couple hours waiting.
Take like a
No hate
very
on it.
generous gulp of the pint.
So what was all of this with the man?
Well,
Massive.
he's been tracking me down. It appears that he doesn't want to turn me in for being
Oh.
a deserter. But he did want to check in with me. He wanted to know if I had any information.
Information on what?
Well, he wanted to see. He's a friend of Faro, Washi Faro.
Oh,
it's the
your
man who
trainer.
trained me. So he wanted to have. He was asking me for some information about that, and he offered me if I ever wanted to go home. He offered me a way to get there,
Like a clemency of some kind?
like a clemency of some kind. Yeah, which was nice. I didn't actually think I'd be able to go home.
When would you go home?
Well, I'm probably not for some time, but if at some point in the future, over the next, look, I'm not interested in abandoning this mission anytime soon. I don't like this stuff. I don't like the myconid extract, and I do feel a duty. So I feel it's partially my but that's why I left the military.
Right.
So I'm not planning on stopping until it stops, but if it stops before I die, I'd like to go home.
Okay.
So it was a nice meeting.
Surprisingly, yeah, actually.
Interesting.
And a man kind of peeks his head out of where sort of the kitchen area was, and he sort of, we're closing up the kitchen for the night. Did you want anything before I close up?
Oh, yes.
Just
Are you...
bread, some roast chicken.
Do I have an idea of the menu, like how much stuff might cost?
Yeah, it's simple, sort of standard in fare. There, for a couple silver, you could get like a sort of plate of chicken, or you could get.
Generally,
Yeah,
they
there's
have
chicken,
all, did you know?
cheese, and bread. Some
She
sort of
did,
simple.
actually.
Can I get like a whatever the plate of chicken kind
Sure,
of thing
yeah,
on
it's
the
2
menu
silver
is?
for some
2
chicken and
silver,
cheese.
okay.
Yeah, and he's sort of, great. Let me get it for you. And he sort of
Thank you
comes.
very much.
Yes, thank you.
He comes back out in a second. It seemed like it was like he was sort of divvying up what had already been made, and he sort of put on a plate. He gives it to you. You can just put the
Oh,
plate
okay.
by the door when you're done. There's sort of a little shelf there.
Okay, yeah.
Thank
thanks.
you.
Good
Have a
night.
good night. He seems to be like untying his sort of apron. He's sort of wrapping it up.
Are you tired?
No, well, actually, yeah, a little bit. But where are the others?
Well, they went to sleep. We encountered some problems coming into Mukmu, and
What kind of problems?
well,
Couple
was-
creatures or so.
there was a mage who, for whatever reason, turned us into appearing undead, and we fought them, and she's dead now. It's fine.
We finished off. No need to
started
worry.
I'm sure they'll
You
have
can
a.
see a couple of the people who are sitting in here kind of like look in your direction ever so slightly and go back to their business.
Anyway, that was a great dream that I had. It was crazy.
Wild. She told me all about it earlier too.
Yep.
I won't even
Second
make you make a
time
deception
hearing
check. You failed.
But we made it out. So
So in my absence,
they were a little tired and
How
we went to
many
bed.
casualties would we say?
6. It was the woman who started it, though. She had some thugs. She made us look undead, and they started attacking us. There was nothing we could do. We don't know why she did it. But we have a letter. Apparently she's some kind of Myconid dealer. And I say that very
She
quietly.
just was appointed.
Maybe there's a more private place for us to have this conversation. I'm kind of like
Sure.
looking around.
Well, we
at
have a
the-
room key.
The 3 of us have to stay together.
Yeah. I'm thinking, look, why don't we maybe, are you planning on going to get some sleep? Or are you planning on,
I was just waiting for you. I didn't have any plans.
Yeah, we wanted to see if you would show up tonight.
Yeah.
And you did.
Well, look, I feel like we should all have a conversation, probably. I'm assuming that some people are probably not very happy with me.
Yes, about that.
Yes.
It seems like you're not enjoying the way decisions are being made in regards to the mission right now.
Well, I think, first of all, we don't really have a system for the way decisions are being made, which is something that I have a problem with.
Well-
I come from a place where there's a system, if that needs to be.
I think the system
Not
is...
very good collaboration and communication.
I think the system is Jillian is the boss.
She's kind of the head of the operation, don't you think? As much as I hate to admit it as well, but...
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you guys about that. I like Jillian. I actually do. I know she doesn't like me. I wouldn't really expect her to, considering. But I think what she's doing, destroying these camps, I don't think it's the most helpful thing she could be doing.
Well,
She's cutting off the heads of... she's not making any progress.
What do you think she should do?
I don't know. I think she should look for information. I think she should try to trace it back to its roots. I think she should target the distributors rather than the camps themselves.
well, when we brought those questions up to her, she didn't seem opposed to it. It just seems like
Well,
almost
then
an
I think we should
impossible
have a
task.
conversation as a team.
Okay.
We can do that. She went to go see her friend, though. So we'd have to just discuss it, the five of us first.
I think that's a good idea.
But Jillian is not displeased with you, I would say. I think maybe she's feeling a little cautious.
Yeah.
That's a good word for it.
And as you guys are having this conversation, you do hear the door click open, and you look over, and then you look down a little bit, and it looks like a child of maybe 10 or 11 is kind of peeking through, and he kind of has dirty hair and a tattered vest, and immediately the man, sort of the concierge, the front desk man, he immediately gets up and moves towards him. I told you not to come in here, and he grabs him, and he sort of starts to push him out. If you want scraps, you can go by the back kitchen exit after midnight. Don't make me have you locked up tonight.
We can all see this interaction
Yeah,
happening.
definitely.
Can
Yeah,
I-
he seems like he's trying to keep it away from the people in the lobby.
Can I call out, Oi!
And he's got the kid in his hand.
Alright, it's alright, I was waiting for him.
He's with you.
Yeah, he's with me.
And the kid kind of looks. Make a deception check.
I don't think I have any modifier. I don't. 16.
16. Okay. He sort of looks at the kid and looks back to you. And he lets go, sort of with a little bit of a shove. I'm not trying to be rude. Just if you're gonna have him with you, I'd watch your pockets. And he sort of turns on an angle and just goes back to his sort of place where he's seated. And the kid kind of watches him go.
I'm gonna signal him over to me.
And he walks up.
Can I kind of hop off the stool and crouch down?
Yeah, sure.
This live at eye level? What do you think? Do I need to watch my pockets?
No.
Alright, why don't you sit here up on this stool? You can have the rest of my chicken. And I'm gonna give him the...
Yeah, and he sort of goes wide-eyed and he starts to sort of tear off some pieces and do.
Orba very subtly just puts her bag on her lap and keeps it really close.
Where are you from?
From Mukmu. My mom went to Tuktu a few months ago. And she hasn't come back yet. Couldn't pay the rent on the house, so I've been scrounging.
You've no other family?
Just my mum. My mum was originally in the Sun District. She was a weaponsmith, but some of her weapons got traced to a few thieves. It wasn't her fault. She didn't know she was selling it to them. But they thought she was providing thieves with weapons, so they took away her good standing. She was forced to sell a shop in the Sun. She went to Tuktu, where I've got relatives. She said she was going to borrow some money and come back. She hasn't come back for a while now. Thanks for the food.
You're welcome.
Tearing away at her.
Do you got a place to sleep tonight?
No.
Do you got any family, brothers, sisters?
Stay with some friends. They have a barn. Stay.
Barn? Filled with other children?
Not filled. There's a couple others.
How many of you are there?
They come and go. It's not always the same ones. 5 or 6, maybe?
Alright. And I'm kind of like looking to Beezaura and Orba, trying to gauge like what their feeling about this is.
Orba looks sad.
No one feels for Socket.
What are you like?
It is a shame,
Communicate a
but
thought.
Yeah, well,
if you'd like to get him a room, we already have 3 in ours.
2
No.
rooms.
We have 3.
Yeah,
Big
3
room.
people.
3 in your room, yes.
What are you thinking?
do you think maybe where's a good place I could find you?
In the Moon District, probably near the Scale House. It's a tavern.
Near the Scale House?
Yeah.
Alright.
What's your name?
Johnny.
Johnny?
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you, Johnny. I hope you enjoyed the chicken.
Johnny Paisley.
What was your mother's name?
Ginny Paisley.
You said she left 3 months ago. Did you say why she was going?
Yeah, she went to borrow money from relatives. It's only a couple days to took to, so that's a long time to be gone.
Do you know the names of your relatives who she was borrowing money from?
She said it was an uncle, not one that I knew.
Okay.
He continues to sort of nibble at the food, sort of ravenous but trying to hold it back a little bit, sort of quickly eating and then stopping and quickly eating a little more.
You want to try some of this? And she hands him the beer. little sip.
And it looks like he doesn't like the taste of it, but
I felt the same way, sir. But
he
trust
takes another sip of it.
it gets you nice and warm.
That's good. It gets cold sometimes near the water.
Other than like the actual cloak that I'm wearing, would I have anything that I could give him?
Like clothing
Like,
wise? If you have something,
I don't think I
remember if
do,
you-
but I
not
wouldn't
sure.
have like anything else that we all have.
No, I think the only like spare clothes, like I know Erland has a spare robe, the one he bought, and
I have a skirt of
I
it
had
in,
says-
I'm not gonna
I have like a climbing kit. I think I have.
yeah, you can wear the climbing
The
kit.
climbing kit is
Where's that
is fake, and the rope also is not that
It's the newest fashion of climbing
So
kits.
I have a plain cloak in my bag. Can I pull the plain cloak out of my bag?
This was Erland's cloak that he gave to you.
No, this was the extra one I think that we bought. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah, we
an
bought
extra
one.
Did we already use someone?
Did you give that
You're
to
wearing?
Beezaura?
No, we
No,
bought
we
2
bought
clothes. We
two.
bought
okay,
a red
sure,
one for her.
And then we
normal
bought
one
a normal one.
Sure, yeah.
That's a plain
Yeah.
cloak. Okay, so I'm gonna take it out and like put the cloak over.
And he kind of wraps it over. It's big on him, but he sort
Yeah.
of looks like a little bundle there.
Alright, well I hope that we'll see you at some point, maybe today in the, where did he say it was going to be? I'm sorry.
Scale House.
Scale
Near the
House.
Scale House is where this barn or wherever he says is located. I am, I'm really good at following people without being noticed. If you ever need that
Oh.
That's a useful skill.
for coin or for food or something,
Well, we wouldn't need you to steal anything for us, but if
I can do that too.
That's alright. I think that might be dangerous. I don't want to keep you safe.
You keep saying that one.
So then I think what I'll give him. How much money do you think he needs for like a little bit of food? If I gave him like 2 copper, how much would that buy him?
Oh, I already have a gold piece out.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
I know how much. I mean, gold piece would buy quite a few meals.
Yeah.
Simple meals, yeah.
Well, my friend, Little Johnny, you said there's a couple of you.
Yeah.
Orba just like plops 1 gold piece on the table and like.
And he reaches for it quickly, and as he does so, the platter kind of clink, 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 clank, clank, like the platter, and he sort of reaches. Make a perception check.
Oh, okay.
I think he has more money than Graven does now.
8.
Seriously.
So he sort of picks up the plate, and he sort of hands it back to you. He sort of looks apologetic,
That's
and
okay.
he takes the gold piece. Sorry. I'll bring it back to him.
Yeah, go ahead and buy some food for everybody.
Do you come here often?
Sometimes after midnight, they give away the food that wasn't being used. So yeah.
Go get some fresh food. Should
And
we
he sort of
go?
shuffles off, and this sort of big cloak is like dragging along the floor. And as the door closes, it kind of gets stuck in it, and he has to open it and pull it out.
Little Johnny.
Orba, do you have enough gold left?
Yeah.
I was gonna share if you didn't.
For what?
Well, she gave it up. So
I'm
I was
okay.
gonna offer her one.
Thank you, though. Well, if we wanted to try to get an early rise tomorrow, I know the boys had some plans.
I think we should go to our room.
Well, you don't have to, but
No, I'm just thinking that someone should do something about a bunch of kids living in a barn, but I'm not sure how much bandwidth they have.
they seem pretty self-sufficient at the moment. Maybe we stop in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that kind of bothered her. Like, that kind of bothered me. So, yeah. I'm gonna kind of like, alright, so what do you think? We'll wait for them and meet upstairs, or?
I believe
The room
Erland
is-
said you would knock on our door in the morning when they were headed out.
They're right next to us.
Okay, I think maybe we should get some sleep then.
Okay.
Agreed.
Let's go.
You guys head up, and the man at the front sort of gives you a nod as you head up. He's already given
Good
you the
evening.
key. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
He lets you go up. You guys make your way to the room. Door opens. The other door's closed next to you that you know the men are sleeping in. And there's 2 beds in the room, and sort of
Is there a little chair or anything?
yeah, there is a chair. Yeah.
Or we get
Orba?
some chair.
You take the bed. I slept on fluffy sheets many a times on this journey. And I'm the smallest.
We're both pretty small. Do you want to share?
Share a bed? Sure.
Okay. Orba hops on one of the
It's
beds.
cozy, but
I guess
the
that's
2 of you
fine.
can
We're
fit
both
there.
really small.
Who's Big Spoon?
I'm Big Spoon.
I get to be the little.
So there's what is it? There's a mattress and a chair. Do I sit?
There's
the chair?
2 beds.
There's 2 beds.
Yeah.
Beds? Oh,
There
okay,
just
I'll
is
get in
3.
the bed then.
So you sort of take your stuff off, slump it down. You guys are sort of finally breathing and relaxing into the night. As Orba kind of looks through her things as she's taking them off, 1 extra gold piece is missing from your bag.
Even when I had it fucking...
You took it out to give him a coin.
Okay.
Wow.
That little devil. Well, they'll be eating very good tonight.
Do you have enough
Plain.
gold?
She sees Orba like,
Something the matter? Your
Once I
change
see that,
purse.
can I like root through my bag a little bit and make sure everything else is there?
make another perception. You have time to look through it. Everything's still there as far as you
Oof. Jesus H.
It would have been given the short window of opportunity. It would have been too difficult to take something large out of your bag. So you
Okay,
just sort of
cool.
like grabbed a coin as
Cool.
the classic plate distraction.
Yeah.
Classic.
Whoa!
I know that one from my day.
Grand. Okay.
You guys are right down to sleep. This is a long rest.
For everybody?
Rest,
Even
yeah.
us?
Wow, we have
Yeah.
our second
Awesome.
one. I'm full. I'm full up.
So skills returned, health
I don't
returned.
think I got
Beautiful.
the hit points. They stay.
Yeah.
Hit points stay?
No hit points.
Oh, they go
Refresh
back.
full.
Full.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Day full.
Maximum.
I didn't use any of my special things last time. I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
Shut up. You shut up.
you
You shut your damn
I
mouth.
had faith in us.
Zara
just-
didn't use her things. Anyway.
I remember.
And even with the curtains drawn, the morning light permeates enough to cause a bit of stirring in the bedroom of Graven and Erland. The wooden bed frame kind of groans under the weight of the Goliath as he rolls over on one side. Eyes slowly cracking open to see the sparkling basin through a slit in the drapery. You can see the light reflecting off the lake. And having finally seized the opportunity to catch an early night's rest, you rise at a decently early hour for once. And after the previous day's events, you take a moment to appreciate the lack of strife and duress, and allow your mind to wander a little as you contemplate what Mukmu has in store for you. And Erland hears Graven kind of moving a little bit, and it causes you to come out of your slumber.
I'm gonna get the ram and just
Across the floor?
sit on the edge of the bed and
another
just kind of
character.
do some lifts with it.
Yeah.
Dope.
What?
Is this your usual morning routine?
Well, just saw the opportunity. I haven't had a chance to stretch my muscles in a while, I suppose.
Lovely. Everyone's gonna sort of stand and look just out onto the lake now that it's
You sort of
morning.
put the curtains aside, and it's quite beautiful. It looks like a lot of the sort of fishermen, and these people have got an early start on the day. There's a number of boats out on the water, some sort of fishing vessels and things moving along. You see them moving along to the river on the other side.
I feel like we haven't got much of a chance to talk in a while.
Without jinxing anything, this is the first day in a long time where we don't have any conflicts on the horizon.
Pressing matters, yes. A few days away. May I ask, do you know how Jillian found you?
No, I don't, honestly.
She just appeared one day.
Quite literally, yes.
Same. Interesting.
I mean,
She seems to know a great deal.
it seems as if you and I are the only people on this team that have any sort of immediate connection to Jillian at this point.
Have you ever met a Goliath other than myself?
No?
No, I haven't.
Yes.
Do I amaze you? No.
You might have seen a Goliath. You didn't know any person.
Yeah.
You definitely didn't know any person.
In my travels, I've seen Goliaths around, but you're the first that I've spoken to with any sort of length. Why do you ask?
Just wondering.
I've known you 3 days, Goliath, and you are never just wandering.
Oh.
Fair enough. Well, I suppose let me know if you do meet any.
Any other Goliaths?
Yes. Buraj has come up before. I told you that I know him.
Is there anything else about him that you'd like to share at this moment?
No, there is nothing to share. I told you we were children together. I haven't seen him in many years. And if I had a chance to again, I would like to.
Did you know his family at all?
Yes.
Brothers, sisters?
I suppose he had a few, but I was probably closest with Buraj.
What were they? Did you grow up in the same place?
Yes.
And where would that be?
In the mountains.
I figured as much. Why are you so interested in finding Buraj if he's just an old friend? I have many old friends that I no longer want to see.
So interested. But he's come up a number of times.
This is the second time you've brought him up unprovoked.
I don't know if he has something to do with the many messes we've found ourselves in, and if for some reason he is, I'd like to know about it.
Would there be any reason to suspect that he would be tied with the Gentle Void, or in any way linked to Myconid? Is there anything about
I'd like
him?
to just say, I'm asking you to tell me things if you find them out. I don't know anything.
All right.
You do like to dig. Like,
Drops the ramp.
Yeah.
We're in the next room, like, did anyone hear?
That was not intentional. It was stretching. Anyway.
For what it's worth, given that you and I are the only direct employees of Jillian, you're probably the person I trust most here. So I'll be sure to let you know.
Thank you. I agree. I feel the same.
I'm gonna head downstairs and...
In fact,
Yes? Apparently not.
I don't really know what role Orba will play, but I think that there is more to her than we realize,
I think that's probably true, yes.
for better or for worse.
Why do you bring that up now?
Well, just help me keep an eye on her.
Of course. Are you worried about her safety or her running off, or...
No.
You're very vague this morning, Goliath. Yes, I will keep an eye on Orba. I hope that she stays with us past Mukmu.
So do I.
Can I get breakfast now?
Let's go.
You put the ram down.
Yeah.
The door opens. And you guys can kind of hear them getting up and ready. And you guys...
Morning.
Orba's like got an arm and a leg over Beezaura. She's just knocked out.
Cute.
Slept pretty well, actually. How about you, Orba?
Good morning. Yes, it was nice. You're like a little stuffed animal.
Thank you. It's very nice of you to say.
Yep, it was nice.
Breakfast? Anyone?
Yes, please. That sounds
Yes. The food last night looked delicious.
And you guys start to move down the stairs, and as you guys open the door, you can see Erland and Graven starting to descend the stairs, so you're just behind them. And you guys move down, and Erland and Graven get to the bottom of the staircase, and the same man is there, and he catches your attention before you sort of head over to the kitchen area. Oh, excuse me.
Yes.
I believe something was dropped off for you early this morning.
Of course, there was.
A couple of notes and a couple of small satchels.
Oh.
And he sort of takes out, one at a time, name?
Graven.
Graven. And he sort of looks and he picks up, and it's like a little, like, burlap satchel. And there's a note attached to it. And he gives you the satchel and the note. Name?
Erland?
Yes. And he sort of looks through. Yes. And he takes the note, he takes the little satchel, hands it to you.
What? Sorry. That was Anthony. That was 100% Anthony.
Oh my god.
And there were more of you, yes, coming down?
Morning, boys.
Oh, yes. You're all with the same party, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Name?
Bizarre.
Excellent. He takes out one, he takes a little pouch,
Oh, great.
hands it over.
Anthony.
Gotcha, sorry.
Thank you.
Names
Saphira.
and
Orba.
last two, that's it. This is Orba's.
Safira.
And he takes a little pouch and he hands it to you.
Thank
All sort of
you.
simple pouches with a little drawstring. And he hands them out. And he
Do
gives them to you.
do I tip you?
Oh, no need. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
And you guys can peek into the pouches. Or,
Yeah, look in the pouch.
Yeah. And it has what it says there on the note.
I'm gonna head to the sort of bar area.
Yeah, it's more like a kitchen, but yeah, there's a,
But is there a high top, like a bartender, or is it more like
No,
just
there's like an opening into the kitchen, but there's mostly just tables set up. There isn't it's like a bar stool area kind of thing. There isn't really that. But
Okay.
yeah, there's a number of tables that are open and available.
Great, grab, who do I talk to for food?
There's someone in there who's a guy, looks like a different guy than the one yesterday, but someone with an apron who's that you can sort of smell the smells of the kitchen, some sort of eggs and omelets and things being
Great.
made in the kitchen.
Sort of like to... Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Breakfast for, 5?
All right. We've got omelets, we've got bacon and eggs, or bloodhawk eggs, bacon stuffed bread.
Oh.
Never had this many grown choices before.
Standard kitchen fare over here.
Bacon stuffed bread, please.
5 silver.
Okay.
What were the other two choices?
Omelets, bacon and egg sandwich, or bloodhawk eggs that we serve over easy.
I'll take the bacon and egg sandwich, please.
Great. 3 silver.
So hungry
Yeah, I'll
now.
take one of those too.
3 silver.
Just an omelet, please.
5 copper.
Just eggs. For
Yeah, the omelet, the standard omelet is just like it doesn't have anything inside. It's basically just a small salad.
Just eggs.
Great. 5 copper.
3 silver for you.
Great, thanks. And he collects the money from you, and he goes back and you can hear some of the eggs being cracked and things being sort of frying up. And you guys have a moment here in the morning.
What do we say is our plan for the day? Anyone?
Oh, welcome back.
Good morning.
And where were you yesterday?
Well, I was exactly where I told you I was. I was in a carriage.
We actually didn't. I didn't read your note.
Tell us anything.
Do you guys know exactly what was going on? Be quiet.
I told you what the note said.
Yes, very loudly.
You want to read the note?
Sure.
I was with Massive. I told you I was with Massive. That's where I went. I'm back now. How did it go? I heard you stole something and killed 6 people. Congratulations.
I killed no one, thank you very much.
I'm glad you weren't stolen or killed, I suppose.
Wow, thank you for the vote of confidence. I
You
appreciate
suppose.
it.
We took the map, but Duldoon is fine with it.
Interesting. When you say he's fine with it, what exactly does that mean?
I mean that as long as we uphold our end of the bargain, which is put a
So you struck a
significant...
bargain with him, or you stole from him?
Well, we stole from him initially.
I do not plan on weighing
So you
our
posture-
past decisions every day.
No, that's
I'm going
fine.
to go find Cedric. If anybody would like to come with me.
Alright.
Who's Cedric?
Cedric. Julian said he heads up the local
Ah, yes.
Cedric Skins.
Cedric.
What are you
Skins.
planning on doing with Cedric?
Well, she asked if we would find out whether they've had any problems with the Black Lions or such. I don't plan on mentioning Myconid, but maybe we can learn something.
And at this point, he comes out with the food. He's sort of with the little platters, and he hands them out.
Thank you.
And it's hot. It's nice. It's pretty good for sort of standard
Thank you, sir.
inn fare.
It may be tread lightly mentioning, say this part quietly, any of the names on the letter we found with Marissa.
Of course.
But it may be worth investigating the names to see if he knows anything, if they're wanted, if there are other distributors of any sort.
She gave us his name. She did not say that we could trust him with everything. Definitely
Yes,
not.
If it,
Marissa, this is the maid you killed?
yes.
Okay. She had a list of names?
There was a letter that mentioned 2 other people who may be Myconid, Wesley and Yvonne, or Yvonne.
Wesley and Yvonne.
We
Okay.
don't know what they are. They may be other distributors. They may be Gentle Void. They may be Black Lion. We don't know much. Fairly clean slate.
Is the server or anybody like nearby?
Not at
As
the moment.
we-
You could flag somebody.
No, that's okay. I
Oh.
wait.
Where did they say we could meet the lemonade man?
Oh, I think we should avoid that entirely.
Okay.
Jillian explicitly said that she tends to not engage in distributors prior to scouting missions, lest they be warned of our presence. I think engaging directly with any distributors would be very, very bad.
So maybe we avoid any bars that are in the Moon District, because that's apparently where that kind of business is
Or
done.
at
At
least,
the very least, don't order lemonade from
yes,
the bars.
speaking with
I have
everybody.
a question, and I'm not sure if now's the right time to have this conversation, but do we think it's the best way? If our goal is to shut down these camps and to stop it from being distributed, then don't you think if we shut down this camp, we
Yes.
don't do any investigating into how it works, how it's sold, how it's distributed,
That's
how it's
exactly what we're doing.
That's
no,
what the
but
scouting
she's
mission
going
is all
to
about.
find that information out and then immediately blow it up. Doesn't
We
give us
don't
very much
destroy
opportunity.
it. We
Well-
just do the scouting.
Well,
I
you were
know,
gone,
but she's-
Jillian. Our scouting mission is specifically to look at who guards it, who's employed there, the number of people, the types of people. Are they military? Are they workers? Who runs the camp?
No, I understand with the
Other
scouting.
entrances.
I've been on a scouting mission before.
Well, I
what you
think
just
that's-
described was what
And we are
we're
doing
What we're
exactly what
doing.
you are
I
asking
know
us
what
to
I'm
do.
saying is it the smartest thing to do?
To figure
scout
out
it.
the information about the camp.
I think the problem is that there are multiple kinds of people who are responsible for all of these Myconid camps. It's not one party in general. Like she said, you can't cut the head off a snake if there's 10 snakes.
So I think what we're doing is we're running around to all the different heads and we're putting out fires and we're not paying attention to what's starting them.
And how would you suggest, without the biggest lead we have right now in terms of
No,
anything
I'm not saying we
larger?
shouldn't destroy this camp. I'm saying maybe we should question our methods. Because maybe it's better if we do this through espionage and we work at finding out who the real players of this are. If we want to really do this, I don't want to go around just shutting down the camps because that's nothing. It's putting out the fire after it's already started. It's too late by that point.
Saphira, I hear what you're saying, but I believe Jillian wants us to go in and figure out the
Exactly what you're
interworkings
saying.
of the camps. We're not
She's
blowing
done
them up
this.
ourselves.
If you know of some
There's a
shadowy...
little extra din in here than there was last night, so you know you can have a reasonable
If
conversation.
you know about any shadowy overlord situation that is running this, then please share, but nobody does. And this is what we are doing. We are going to the source and we are finding information.
What we
If
do,
you are not comfortable
It's not
with
that I'm
killing
not
anybody
comfortable.
there, you
That
don't have
has
to.
nothing to do with it.
It's exactly what it is.
Why is everybody getting so mad at each other? I think she's posing a question, and I think if you all just ruminate on it for a second and think about it, maybe we'll be able to make some progress. But at the moment, we're sticking to the plan. She's not trying to...
I'm not trying to deviate from the plan. What I think we should do is have a real conversation with Jillian about what the best way to shut this operation down might be.
Look, what we're doing right now is scouting this camp.
Right.
Everything that it seems like you want more information on, if you want to find who's in charge of this, if you want to chase this all the way to the head, it begins with scouting this camp, regardless. We can have a long conversation afterwards about what we want to do with the information we get from the scouting mission. But at this particular moment, our job is to scout and find out all we can. And if we want to destroy it afterwards, we can have that conversation.
I agree with Erland. What we find there could lead to what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, I hope it does. When I had a conversation with Jillian about scouting these camps, it didn't seem like she was interested in doing anything other than going to the camps and destroying them.
I think she's maybe
I
just
wanted
being
to interest her
realistic.
in something, maybe a more, useful endeavor.
Well, that's something to work toward, I guess. So you wanted to go to the institute, correct?
Yes, would you like to join me?
That sounds lovely,
Yeah,
yes,
I'd like to go to
actually.
the institute.
I don't think many of us should go. I think that the more of us that go, the scholars, the teachers, I don't want it to feel like an interrogation.
That might be true. I'm ex-military. You'd be best suited to go, I'm sure.
I think the Tiefling would be best suited to go with me, yes.
Alright. Fancy any help finding Cedric?
Sure.
Yeah?
Sure.
Oh, Graven, I was also going to ask if anybody knew if there was any kind of temples around. Would you want to go visit them with me?
Maybe.
Okay. I will let you know what I discover.
Do.
What sort of temples?
Well, I guess we didn't really...
Graven seems a little uncomfortable with that proposition.
We didn't really investigate it in Oranchupa, but I would like to see if there's any kind of new Kelkian temples around that I could visit.
Could be interesting.
Mm-hmm. That maybe you might enjoy it.
Did we have any
Perhaps.
leads of where Cedric was?
I would imagine someone here at the inn would know. We're the head of the
Director of
reserves.
Is that right?
Somebody at the inn here would know. We're the director of
Where'd you go, man?
I mean, the guy who works at the front that you could presumably ask him
I-
who's a regular resident of.
I also have some, geographical questions, of course.
Excuse me.
Yes?
What's your name?
My name is Prescott.
Prescott.
Yes.
We have a couple questions because we're new in town.
Yes?
First question, I believe you have for him, sir.
Do you know where the head of the reserves?
Yes, he's located at the reservation center, sort of a city hall at the southern end of the sun. It's in the center of the town square. It's very hard to miss. There's a large, tall spire that sticks out in the corner.
Oh boy.
It's called the reservation center.
It's number 3 on your map for practical reference purposes.
Gotcha.
Would this city center also have a sort of town ledger, perhaps? A list of everyone in town, residents, property owners?
Well, everyone who's a permanent resident of Mukmu has a good standing rating, and they keep the records there at the reservation center. So if they're a citizen of Mukmu, their name is somewhere in that ledger.
I would like to know if you have any temples in Mukmu.
There are 2, yes. There's the Lakafuyu of Mukmu. That's at the southern end of Mukmu. It's number 12 on your map.
Mm-hmm.
And there is New Kelke of the Moon. It's number 10. Sorry, that was my voice. But he says it's number 10 as he looks at your map.
That's number 10.
It's number 10.
Yeah, it's number 10 on your map.
211.
New Kelke.
There's 2 at
Sorry.
New Kelke of the Moon District. That's what it's called.
Oh, got it.
It is.
Not like the moon god or
No.
something. New Kelke of the moon. And that's number 10. Okay.
And 12 is the Lakafuyu Church.
Wonderful.
Maybe they're all
Thank
the
you.
same.
And the direction of the...
Natural Studies Institute as well.
It's right across the street from the reservation center. And that's
Oh.
number 4 on your map.
We will all be traveling together, it seems.
That's the institution.
Natural Studies Institute is number 4.
Any other questions? Any landmarks or anything that we should know about? Any famous places?
I'm not sure about famous. You could try the Wet Dock. It's a pub and restaurant a couple streets down. He describes it's number 2 on your map there.
That's in the sun?
Yep, in the Sun District.
Sorry, what was the name again?
The
And
Wet
it's called the
Dock.
Wet Dock.
Wet Dock.
And the food selection there is very good if you want something more than just what we have here at the inn.
Oh, wonderful.
Is there any place to buy traveling supplies, maps, potions?
Of course, yes. And he describes sort of the town square, and number 6 is, it's called Hayes and Things. Hayes works there, and that's sort of general goods.
What about any magic shops?
There is one of those as well. It's called Trinketry,
Oh.
and that's number 7.
Does the Fleet of the Broken Crown have a presence here?
They do. There is a Broken Crown Station, I believe it's called. It's in the northern end of the sun. It's where all the walls are. They keep themselves fairly locked in. And that's number 5 on your map.
Oh. What was that called?
I thought that
Broken
was
Crown
I thought that was
Station.
south.
You.
Oh, 5 is south, yeah.
No, the holes go on.
The
You
left.
said-
That
holes-
should be.
This is north, right?
That's south.
You said
Yeah, I thought
said
you
it
said we were on
differently.
the left.
No, I said like you're looking at it in your binder.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said
And
one
that's
on the
north.
left.
Look,
Hmm?
if it's in a binder,
Oh yes, you're
It's
right.
okay.
I
It's
lied.
okay.
so it's that.
So 5 is south.
Oh, so the page is on the left, not
Okay.
the
As if it
holes
was
on
in
the
your
left.
binder. Look at it that way.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, so south.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry.
We just felt so
yes.
betrayed.
Keep it in your binder. That will make it easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the holes line up correctly.
Pawn or game shops around.
I'm not sure if there's something of that kind. I'd direct you to the general goods store.
Got it.
I'm not sure if there's something that specific.
And that would be in the square.
Yes, there's the town square has Trinketry, Haze and Things, the Bauble Shop.
Any wig or dress shops around?
No, that might be part of the general
General
goods as
store.
well. If they have something like that.
Cheers.
Well,
Thank you.
Have a good afternoon.
thank you very much. It was delicious.
And before I leave, I turn around and since he seems really knowledgeable.
Sure.
Excuse me, Mr. Prescott.
Yes, of course. He puts down sort of the quill.
Do you know of anyone who's interested in playing the game of chess?
I'm not sure I know what you mean.
I've just been
Like I said, there's no games shop, so you'll have to go to the general goods.
Okay. Perfect.
Goes back to writing in his letter. The day is yours. Where are we
Yeah.
headed?
Yes.
Should we head over to the reservation?
We're all walking together, it
Yes.
sounds like.
Yes, in the same
And
direction.
right across the street from each other.
Sounds like we should maybe take this time if anyone needs to, get any goods of any kind, and
Could I have the copy of the page from the grimoire?
Oh yeah, sure. And I'm gonna kind of hand it that.
Sure.
And yeah. So are we kind of like leaving? Are we stepping out? I kind
Yeah,
of.
I think so, yeah.
Sort of open the door and step
Can I
out.
kind of hang back a little bit just for a quick second?
Sure. Yeah.
Would it be reasonable for me to be able to flag him down, like kind of without getting their attention?
Flag who down?
Like the innkeeper.
Sure. Yes.
Prescott. And just can I say something quietly enough that they wouldn't be able to hear me, or no? Just
Yeah.
run up to them.
Did you forget something?
Yeah, sorry. Do you happen to know if there's a courier service anywhere around?
There is, yes. Mel's Couriers.
Oh.
It's near the Broken Crown Station.
Okay. Can I? Which
Number
one?
5 there,
Number-
yeah, is the
okay.
Broken Crown. So it's right. He said it's right near that.
Oh, and just so I know,
Mhm.
the bar that the Johnny said that he was gonna be at, where is that on the map?
So 3 of them are labeled 11. Those are 3 different bars in the moon.
Oh, okay.
You would have to find that out. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't know
Oh,
that.
that's
Okay.
Yep.
Bar? I thought you said barn. You didn't say barn.
He did.
Well,
He said it was
Oh.
near
He
a
said
pub
near a
called
pub.
the Scale House.
Where can I put my money pouch? Like, can I put it in my bag? Has it always been in my bag? Or is it on a separate part of me?
No, it's been in your bag, like a flap of, like a pocket of your
Yeah.
knapsack.
And I have like a cloak on or some kind, right? Can I put the bag on and then the cloak over top so that I have like a big
It's less
lump?
visible, sure.
Try not to run any more, Johnny's.
Yeah.
You guys see Orba walking, she has like a weird like tumor on the side, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you drape the cloak over the top.
I'm gonna follow them out the door now.
Great. And you guys start to move through, and it doesn't take long to get to the sort of town square area that he described. It's fairly lively. People are starting to get going. There's a number of shops, people hawking wares and things. And we'll head to the reservation center first. And you come upon a sort of 2-story stone building, and you're all sort of together at this point, and the others will sort of break off.
I want to talk to. I want to make sure I chat with them before they break
please.
off.
Yep.
If you're going to the sort of reservation center, I think it might be worthwhile, especially if we're not going to ask about Marissa, Yvonne, or Wesley. Have a look in the record of good standing to see if you can learn anything about them.
I can do
all,
that.
It's all public record, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, just if you're already going to be there, have a look through the book, see what you can find about them, see if you can find out where they live, just any information so we know who they are.
That's a good idea. I think we should try. If it's public record, I'm not really want to see anything. But
It's probably,
sure it's
you may even want to do that before you speak with Cedric, just so you have a little bit of information, you know what you're asking about.
It's a good idea.
yeah.
I'm full of them, yes.
Brimming.
Oh
Yes.
yes. Well, don't go tooting our horn too much.
Come on.
And you guys move through the streets. And so the 3 of you are going to the reservation center?
Mm-hmm.
Great. So you guys come upon a 2-story stone building on this sort of end of the main square that's described to you by Prescott. And a narrow spire towers over most of the surrounding structures. It looks like it would have an excellent view of the city on a clear day. It's much, much taller than a lot of the buildings around here. And it has these sort of interlocking sun and moon symbols that are carved into the masonry, denoting it as property of the city. You saw this symbol carved in a couple of the walls as well. It seems like that's just a marking of sort of a public building. And a handful of guards in yellow tunics are sort of ambling about in the area. And there's a short staircase that's like 5 stairs up that leads up to a set of double doors that's partially ajar at the moment. It doesn't seem like they're keeping people out. And you guys can walk up the staircase. And you start to move through the doors, and nobody stops you. There's a few guards there who sort of regard you as you pass, but just politely, nobody stops you. And you move through, and there's a man sweeping the floor there at the door, and he sort of politely moves out of the way and allows you to go in. And you see 8 desks in 2 columns, and there's 2 scribes to each desk. And it seems like they're meticulously sort of flipping through ledgers and jotting down notes as they cross-check with each other. They'll write something, look at what the other person has, confirm, and they'll jot it down a little bit more. And there's a clean-shaven man with long gray hair and a yellow headband walking up and down sort of the rows and aisles of these desks. And he occasionally kind of picks up a ledger, sort of flips through it, nods, and sort of puts it back on the table, returning it to the desk. And sometimes he picks one up, seeing that it sort of seems complete, he closes it and he puts it on a bookshelf, and there's bookshelves sort of lining this interior. Can I help you?
Hello. This is the reservation center.
It is, yes. I'm Standing Sergeant Uriel. Can I help you?
Yes, we are travelers, and we found your city fascinating. Wondering if we could just learn a bit more about your systems here and how you...
Isn't really somewhere for learning. Is there a specific question you have?
Oh, well.
We were wondering if we could browse some public records.
We can look something up for you. They're not for public browsing.
Oh, okay.
You're looking for a person, a name, a place?
We might be. We also wanted to talk to someone as well.
Yes, is Cedric Skentz.
Yes,
Yeah.
the director is in. Who can I tell him is calling upon him?
My name is Graven.
Graven?
Beezaura.
Beezaura?
Safira.
Safira. Last names, should I tell him? Is he expecting you?
No,
Don't believe
should
so.
be a casual cons. I don't think it's.
Oh. Good. All right, I'll be back. Please don't interrupt the scribes. They're very busy.
Okay.
He sort of looks, and he moves sort of down the back hallway. And you have a moment here, and the scribes are kind of dutifully writing, and a couple of them kind of look up at you and go back to their work.
Can I just say, psst.
Are you going to one of the scribes?
Yeah.
Oh god.
And he sort of looks around to make sure that Uriel's not there. Yes?
Don't want to disturb you.
Oh.
What is it exactly that you're writing?
We're just making copies of the records, so if one gets destroyed, we don't lose track of who has good standing.
How many copies do you make?
Recently, we've been making more. We've been having problems.
Problems?
Yes.
How so?
Well, and as he starts to talk, Uriel returns.
I was gonna say, I was gonna kind of put my body
Sure, I mean,
kind
you
of
come
between her and where.
Yeah, you can. You sort of have time to
Yeah,
scoot
just
there
so-
quickly. And Uriel sort of... You may come.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And the guy sort of gives you a look as you go by.
Would I be
Quickly
able
goes
to,
back
while I'm walking, and you're probably gonna say no, but to have like a
can't wait.
little like piece of paper, can I like scrawl something on it if I found like a quill and
Do you have that on you, or are you taking something from one of the desks?
No, I think I was hoping that I don't think I have anything on me.
Yeah, I don't think you have it. So you would have to
That's all.
quickly take it off of someone's desk. Is that what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to just adjust a piece of paper. Well, actually, no, screw it. That's
Saphira goes,
She kind of like thinks about it, and then she thinks that's a terrible decision, and so she says no.
sure. Great. And he leads you down this sort of narrow hallway, and there's a sharp curve at the end that turns, and it opens up into this office that's sort of about 15 feet wide in both directions. Tidily kept, and there's a number of glass cabinets that contain what look to be... They seem like wartime collectibles. There's sort of a sword delicately placed on a rack. There's a hat with a nice sort of feather sticking out of it. And these are all encased in these glass cases. There's a pair of well-polished boots in one of them, a few other small trinkets. And there's a man in there, in his 50s, dark hair pulled back into a tight ponytail. And he has sharp cheekbones and muscular forearms. He has this sort of loose-fitting, pale yellow robe with a sun symbol on it. And he gives you a sort of curious smile as you enter. We might have been expecting someone that he knew when he was being called upon. He doesn't seem to recognize any of you off the bat. And he stands up as you enter from his desk. Director of Reserve, Cedric Skentz. And he hands out a hand. And as you reach out your hand, he grabs it and he clasps the other hand on top and he gives you like a good shake. Cedric Skentz, Director of Reserves. Cedric Skentz, Director of Reserves. And then he... Oh, please, sit.
Quite a firm grip you got there.
Well, we try to keep things professional, please. Emotions. There's a few chairs there on the other side of his desk.
It's a pleasure.
I'm sorry, I don't recognize you.
We are travelers. We've come from different places and from far. But we heard that you would be a man to talk to around here.
Depends what you're looking for, I guess.
We,
Sorry, I'm not trying to be rude, but I do have a meeting fairly soon, so I'm happy to help with the time that I
I don't
have.
want to take up too much of your time.
Fair enough. The reason we ended up in Mukmu is we're tracking a few black lions, and we ended up taking care of them.
Dispatching with a few,
Yes.
yeah.
They can be problematic, yeah.
We were wondering, have you had any problems with them of late here in the city? Or
More so than
nearby?
I'd say we'd have less problems, if anything. Most Black Lion reports come from merchants being ambushed along the western roads. It's been fairly quiet recently.
Interesting. Merchants of what kind? Any kind in particular? Just any merchant passing through?
Over the years, pretty much anybody. They're happy to take whatever's given to them. Look, I'm not trying to be an arse, but there's nothing we can do about travellers who don't take the proper precautions, so if you get too close to the Shocky Mountains and you've got valuables, they might come after you.
Understandable. I fancy myself a hunter as well. Have you had any problems with beasts on the outskirts of the city?
Beasts? What kind of beasts?
I don't know. Anything really.
I don't think so. I've had some unusual undead activity at the cemetery, but Gravekeeper Yannick says he's got it under control, so I'm not going to worry with it yet.
You know the Black Lions are necromancers.
Yeah.
That's not related to that.
Yannick doesn't seem to think so.
Interesting.
Nobody's been killed. Just seems to think the spirits are angry, disturbed. I don't know. I don't worry myself with it until it becomes a problem.
You say you haven't investigated it at all?
Like I said, Gravekeeper Yannick seems to think that they're fairly harmless at this point.
Would you mind if we had a chat with Yannick, just because we've just recently had some bad encounters with some necromancers that Black Lions would hate to have him have the same experience.
Sure, yeah, it doesn't matter to me.
Where's the cemetery?
Cemetery, and he describes the area of the cemetery. It's the sort of large purple number 13 on the map. It's just outside the city walls.
Yannick, what's his name?
Yannick, Gravekeeper Yannick, yeah. But like I said, I'm not going to deal with it. We've got bigger problems, so...
What kind of problems are you having, sir?
Well, sort of a lot of recent pushback against the standing system. There's one man in particular, Quentin Femme. He's got people all riled up, spreading lies about it. We're planning to carve up the Moon District into additional quarters, push people into ghettos. It's all lies. We're not doing that.
It seems like it's worked out well so far.
Has there been any redistributing of housing recently?
Maybe a couple you'd have to speak to a real... Look, it's been in place for a long time. If your standing falls under 70%, you can lose your property. It is what it is.
People's standings fallen under 70% recently.
Recently? No. It happens here and there.
What are bounds for bad standing?
What?
What makes your standing go down?
Crime? Lying to a city official? Not paying your taxes? Any number of small things.
Do you guys provide any housing for orphans?
No, not to my knowledge.
Right. Okay.
One problem at a time, I think.
Yeah.
So you enforce the standings, but who creates them? Who?
Not sure I know what you mean. When you become a citizen of Mukmu, unless we have some other information, you start with a perfect 100 standing. If you do anything wrong, your standing drops. You have to apply for citizenship, and then you go in the ledgers. You probably aren't in the ledgers, because I don't think you're citizens.
I wouldn't imagine so.
Just visiting. We heard from your men out there that you've been having some problems with the copies.
Yeah, like I said, this guy, Quentin Femme, he's got people all riled up, and there's been some attacks, or not really attacks, but we've had people sneak into the reserves and start burning the books, try and destroy the records, see, so they don't know who's got good standing and who's got bad standing, but it's ridiculous. We keep copies, of course, but I think he thinks it's symbolic in a way.
Are these standings public record? Can anyone look at them?
Sure, yeah, if you've got a name. It's not hidden.
I'm just curious.
Well, if we can be of any help, I'm a ranger, and he has some experience fighting as well. So does Beezaura.
Very good fighter.
If you should need to call on us, let us know. Also, if you have any information about the Black Lions, we'd be happy to know. We are planning on maybe travelling through that area again, so we just want to make sure that...
Well, I'd certainly keep your wits about you. I don't know that I have any specific information. Like I said, it's actually been fairly quiet from the Black Lions recently. And City Watch has had things under control so far, but if I have any problems, I can try and find you.
Cheers. Well, look, we know you're a busy man. It was really nice to meet you. Thanks for taking the time.
Of course.
We'll be at the Lakeside Inn.
Excellent.
Where do you frequent around here? For fun or social?
Any of the number of taverns. I usually stick to the one in the sun, but there's one in the moons as well. Wet Dock over there. Good food.
Oh, I heard good things about the Scale House. Would you happen to know where that is?
Yeah, it's not one that I frequent, but he describes it to you. Of the 3 ones labeled 11, it's the ones kind of in the middle.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of stand up and give him a little.
Sure. And when you stand up, he stands up quickly as well to sort of.
Yeah.
Well, happy to help. If there's anything else, let me know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Before we leave, your organization of the ledgers, is it alphabetical or...?
Well, you're not allowed to look through them yourself. You'll have to ask Ariel for a lookup. We charge for a lookup.
Got it.
How much?
Well, depends on how quickly you want it. I think it's 5 silver for a 24-hour turnaround, and you can get a 2 gold rush if you want it by the end of the day.
Okay.
Big ledger.
There's a lot to look through.
I'm sure.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, of course. And he sort of sits back down at his desk. He seems to go back to some work that he's got. And you guys move back through the hallway, presumably.
Is what's his face still there?
Uriel left. Yeah,
Is the scribe that she was talking to still there?
So you guys are moving back through the hallway towards the main room that you came into. And as you guys are walking through there, you see Uriel escorting 2 people with him. That seems to be, like Cedric said, he was meeting with someone. He's escorting 2 tieflings, dressed well. And they have a strikingly similar appearance. It actually maybe looks like they're twins. They have exact same skin color, sort of a light reddish tone. And they give you sort of a polite bow as they go by, and Uriel leads them through. And Uriel kind of, please, again, I'm going to be a moment. Don't disturb the scribes. We're very busy.
Yep.
Have a good day.
You too.
And he leads the other men through the hall. You guys come back out into the main area.
Can I really quickly crouch down by the scribe that she was talking to?
Sure, yeah.
Just, hey, if you fancy
Yes.
a drink maybe later, if you wanted to come by, just if you're around, what pubs do you frequent? What's the best pub around here?
Well, I usually stick to the one in the sun. The Wet Dog.
Okay, cheers. Well,
popular
maybe we'll see you there
choice.
sometime. What's your
Seems like
name?
the only one.
Donnie.
Donnie?
Yes.
Safira, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Donnie,
Yes.
sorry, before he comes back.
And he sort of peeks back to the hallway and he doesn't see them.
I really
Yes,
want to
quickly.
get you in trouble.
Yes.
What is the ordering system of the ledgers?
Ordering system?
It's any sort of organization?
Some mostly alphabetical, yes, but you're not allowed to take them on your own.
Yeah,
Right, I heard.
No, we've been told we have to pay a fee. Yeah.
Yes.
Right, cheers. Thanks, Donnie.
He goes back, right? And you guys step out of the building. There's a moment here if you want to chat before we go over to the...
Didn't seem like we got too much information.
That was pretty
No, but
useless.
that scribe was chatty. And I think that he was about to chat about something interesting. I'm serious. He was going to say something important. The problem that's happening that we heard mentioned, but something's changed recently. Quentin Finn?
Then,
We have to talk to him, I think. It could have something to do with myconid extract. It could not. It could just be that myconid extract has greatly changed the economy. It could be that, I don't know.
Perhaps tonight some of us should go to the Wet Dock and some to one of the taverns in the moon and see if we can find any information about Quentin.
Yeah. I know you might think this is silly, but I'd also like to check on the little boy that we saw earlier. You didn't see him,
Little
but
boy.
last night we saw a little boy. He was homeless. He needed food. He was starving. I just want to see if he's okay. He's in the moon. I'm sure we'll pass through there.
So I guess you're going to the scale.
I don't know. I don't know. I think we should all meet up together and then think about it.
Okay.
As you guys kind of... Sorry, did you want to...
Yeah. Well, I'm going to check on the Broken Crown outpost here.
Okay.
See if they have any information as well.
I'd rather not go back through there if possible, but
Fair enough.
I think I might stop at the general store, see if we can't find anything we need.
I think I might head there as well.
Well, depending on how long you're there, I'll probably meet up with you there.
Great.
You guys start to move. And we head over to the Natural Studies Institute. And you come upon what appears to be the largest structure in the area by a good margin. It's a chest-high wall that's surrounding a manicured courtyard, trimmed grass and shrubs kind of mirroring the curves of the stone framework. And there's a lot of windows, but on the first floor they're little more than arrow slits. It seems like presumably to keep prying eyes from sort of peeking in. The windows on the second floor appear to be larger. And the construction's a combination of wood and stone blocks, and the varying sort of sun-stained shades give you the impression that the Institute's been renovated, added onto multiple times over the years. And the sprawling front gates are open, and there's a mixed path of sort of soft gravel, some kind of fine clay, leading up to a large wrought iron door, and the gaps of the door are filled in with a thick, kind of warped glass that again makes it difficult to peek into. It kind of warps the image. You just see sort of a little bit of colors and shapes moving on the other side. And there's a moment here before you sort of head in.
All right. 2 things before we head in, all right?
Okay.
Firstly, for a great number of reasons, I'm not going to give them my name.
Yep.
All right?
Yep.
Jamie.
Jamie Foltash.
Oh my god.
It's never worse.
He returns.
Secondly, I don't know how long you were at the halls, but it's extremely important that you let me know if you ever interacted with Grimari or his apprentice Marvin Bishop.
I have not.
Can I see if that's true?
Sure, I can answer.
Oh my god.
Seven.
You
can't
can't see.
I see the skeptical look on his face. Erland, I would never lie to you about something this important. This clearly means a lot to you, so tell me what I need to do.
It's less about meaning a lot to me, honestly, and more, if you have, there is a very high chance you would get caught going in there.
Okay. I have not.
Okay.
What
Alright.
is your objective, so that I can help?
Well, you know the page we copied, yes?
Mm-hmm.
It seems like that page is actually a mirrored inscription spell.
Okay.
And there's another page, perhaps somewhere in the institute, that if someone else writes on it, it will be. Do you know what a mirrored inscription
She
is?
has heard of that.
familiar
Yeah.
with the spell.
Good. So it seems that whoever wrote the things about Myconid on that page in Grimari's grimoire, it's not actually from the original. It has been written on the page. I believe we were instructed to come here.
Okay.
It may be in the hands of his former apprentice, a man named Marvin Bishop.
Okay.
I know nothing about Marvin Bishop.
Okay.
I don't know if he likes me. I don't know anything.
Do you think he would know who you are?
It's possible. That's why we're going with Jamie.
Wonderful.
But whatever happens, just go along with it.
Okay.
Also,
So,
whatever happens in there, let's be very careful about what we share with the rest of the group until we know what it means.
Okay.
I know that that's not your favorite thing to do.
No. But I understand.
Yes, I would like for this to not have repercussions against me.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can still call me Orba. No one will know my name. Well. Oh, actually, is that a pretty how, as a servant, did people know my name? Like, was that a thing?
A few of the ones that you would interact with regularly, maybe, but again,
Okay.
this isn't the halls. Also, this
No,
is
I know that. I just mean does my name ring a bell in anybody's head?
That would be exceedingly rare for someone to talk about a servant by name to another
That's what I was
institution.
making
I mean,
sure of.
theoretically possible, a very rare possibility of that happening.
Got it. You can just call me Orba if that's easier.
All right. Is there any advantage to? I know you're able to detect magic. Is there any advantage to doing that now? Can you do that later? Will you need that to identify a mirrored inscription spell to
Well,
make sure we're not being lied to?
It would take me quite some time to do it. Actually, it's not very subtle. It would take me maybe 10 minutes to cast it.
All right, we can work with that.
Okay. Scholar and scribe.
Scholar and scribe. Scholar and scribe.
Okay, scholar and scribe. Okay.
This is gonna
what
go
we,
well.
What we tell them sort of depends on how willing Marvin is interested in sharing with us.
Understand.
If he is truly beckoning us with this page, then we have to tell very few lies.
True.
If he's not, let's see what happens.
Numerous lies.
Okay.
let's drive in.
Is there anyone outside the door?
Not stationed at the door, but it looks like there's a couple of people wandering around. There's someone sort of trimming the grass, or someone trimming hedges around.
Oh, great. Yeah, let's talk to one of the gardeners first.
Sure. Yeah, there is a gardener.
Excuse me, friend.
Yes,
Is this the Natural Studies Institute?
it is. Yes.
Oh, lovely. We're new to town. I just don't know much about it. Is there a library portion to it? Can you take books out? Can you look at books? Is it just scholars?
You'd have to have a reason to. I think they have to allow you to take something out.
All right. Does Marvin Bishop still work here?
Yes, I believe he does.
Do you know him well?
I've interacted with him a bit. It's been a while since I have, but I believe he still works here.
Why has it been a while? Just happenstance?
Yeah, I think so. We come in shifts. It's possible I just missed him.
All right. What sort of reasons do people need to look at books typically? What would you...
She sort of gives you kind of a confused look. I'm not... I don't take... I'm not sure.
Forgive him. He doesn't travel very much. Are we permitted to enter?
Yes.
All right. Oh, lovely.
Have a good day.
She's sort of confused, like goes back to trimming.
Let's enter.
And the door opens quietly with a little bit of a... And as you go in, there's sort of a soft clang as it closes behind you, as it hits the metal. And you step forward into a little front hall, no bigger than 15 by 20 feet. And there's closed doors to your left and your right, and one door behind a long countertop in front of you. So there's 3 doors, sort of one on each wall and one behind you, the entrance you came through. And behind this sort of long countertop, there's 2 people, one half-elf and one human. And they stand in plain gray robes. And it looks like they're checking a rack of plants against a list that they have. They're sort of making sure they have that one, sort of nodding and checking, they're making sure that they have the right sort of things that they ordered or inventory. And the door to your right looks like it's currently in the process of being installed. You can hear a hammering on the other side, sort of a... And you can see the hinge sort of rattling a little bit as he's sort of getting it into place. There's sort of a metal hinge on the door. It seems like he's newly installing this door. And you can see a man, you sort of peeking through the crack in that door that's being worked on. You can see a man sort of working on the hinges, sort of setting something up, and you can hear the hammer whacking again.
Sorry, is there a door behind the counter as well?
There is.
Door and one behind us that leave.
There's one on each side,
Yeah.
one in front of you on the other, and the one you
yeah,
came
great.
through, yes.
Side note, do I, now that my sepsis level's down from 5 and I'm at a
Yes.
3, do I look normal again?
You look pretty normal, yes.
Pretty normal.
Other than a magical detection means a regular person would not.
And do the plants behind the thing, that the counter, do they look like the plants that was in my room with Blom?
Make a perception check.
Oh.
Checking out the plants.
Perception?
Mm-hmm.
19.
19. They don't look like the ones that were in your room. A number of them look like the lilies that you saw. They're sort of dried out at the moment. Blom's lilies, the lilies of life.
Which one was that?
The second move that you learned,
Yeah.
the restoration. So a number of them look like that. It looks like they sort of brought a number of those in.
It's like finding a bunch of med kits. I don't like that.
And they don't really regard you as you come in. There's those 2, there's a half-elf man and a human woman sort of on the other side.
Excuse me.
Hello, yes. Do you have business here? Are you picking something up, dropping something off?
I was curious as to if I could look at a book real quick.
What book?
Do you have the first edition of Grimari's Giant Grimoire by any chance?
I don't believe we do. No.
No?
Sorry. And he turns back.
Can I see if that was a little too abrupt?
Make an insight check.
20.
20.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was truthful. Yeah.
What a waste.
It seemed like he was truthful, and yet he did also seem like he was trying to shut the conversation down. So whether he's busy or whether he just doesn't want to talk to somebody he doesn't know, you get that impression from him.
Okay.
I'm sorry, we're here for research. Can you give us the lay of the land in this building?
No, I cannot. What kind of research?
Do you know the author Samuel Precus?
I do, yes.
Yes, he's sent us here to do some research for him for his upcoming book.
What are you researching?
Grimari.
Grimari doesn't work here anymore.
Does does Marvin Bishop still work here?
What relation are you to Marvin Bishop?
None. Samuel Precus mentioned that he works here and thought that we might chat with him for research for the new book.
You're a disciple of Grimari's?
No, I'm here because Samuel Precus is working on a book.
Marvin Bishop is not well. He's sickly. He's not himself. So, if you have a message you'd like me to get to Master Bishop, I can do so.
Where is he? Is he all right?
He is here. He's in his lab.
I'd love to speak with him.
Well, you cannot. Is there a message you'd like me to get to him? He has not been well recently. And as this conversation's happening, you can look over and the woman who's sort of still working on some of the plants, she's giving sort of a raised eyebrow to both of you guys. Gonna put some things back.
I believe that Marvin Bishop wanted to speak with us.
About what?
About myconid studies, actually.
Well, I don't know how familiar you are, but myconid products have recently become more publicly available in the area.
I don't want any products.
I'm not saying you do. It is my understanding that supply runs out quickly due to demand, and there's a delay before there's additional shipments. And during these downtimes, we've experienced a series of break-ins. People know that we've been studying myconids, and now some of them perhaps believe we're hoarding this extract from them. We've had to step up our security considerably, and he motions to the 2 doors sort of being installed. So the myconid research is off limits at this point. And unless you have some kind of reason to be here beyond that, I'm afraid I'm going to have to turn you away.
Like I said, Marvin Bishop beckoned us.
Do you have a letter from Marvin?
I do not have a letter from Marvin, no.
Well, I can't let you in with some sort of official record.
All right.
Perfect.
If you'll excuse me, I have other things to attend to.
Yes, of course.
Please.
Oh, I had one more question. Do you guys study, and Orba kind of like bumps Erland aside so she gets a one-on-one with him, and she starts taking off her boot. Do you guys study like genealogy and the history of feet? And she puts a foot on the counter and starts like kind of making a little bit of a scene.
And he sort of pushes your foot off the counter. No, we don't do that sort of thing.
Holding her foot in the air, kind of leaning. Because there was this party trick, and she like kind of gives Erland a little glance.
Yeah. Is this scene significant enough that I could hop into the door on the left?
Oh, he would definitely see that.
Her head kind of like tilts in the direction of the other woman at the front desk. There was this party trick that somebody did, and he said that he could tell where I was from.
We're
just
not
from the base
interested in party tricks or genealogy of any kind.
So you don't.
Is the woman the half elf or is the man?
The man is the half elf. Human woman, half elf man, yeah.
Are you sure? Because it seemed very impressive, and I would like to know more
Excuse
about it.
me. Unless you have a reason to be here, I'd like you to leave.
Well, can I make eye contact with the human woman?
Sure, yeah.
And sort of just indicate.
What?
Alright.
What was that?
But you also notice,
You.
she seems like she smiled a little bit.
Okay.
That's another thing.
And the half-elf man sort of, I'm sorry, another time, Marvin Bishop is not well.
Yes, sorry for the inconvenience.
Is there a message you'd like me to get to him before I go?
I have some paper. Would you like to write something to him?
We have paper. What is the message?
Lovely. If you could let him know that we know that they're watching.
Is that all?
I think so, yes. I think that based on our conversations we had, I think he'll know what that means.
All right. I'll let him know.
Cool, thank you.
And he turns, he closes, he goes through the door on the other side, leaving just the human woman now here with you, except you can sort of still hear the hammering for the door to the side.
Orba puts her boot back on.
Good try.
Apologies for all of that.
Yes.
Why are you smiling so much through all of this?
And she sort of puts a plant up on the shelf, and she closes sort of a little ledger that she had that she was in, and she puts it to the side. You're Erland Loftefell, aren't you?
And who might you be?
There's a nickname for you around here.
Oh yes, what is it?
Well, at first it was the rat fuck of Ki'Ira, but you can't say that around polite company.
Yeah.
So they came up with a new one. Scholar's Bane. Erland, Scholar's Bane. Ruiner of careers.
And who is this man that you think I am?
And that's where we're going to take a break.
Ruiner of careers.
So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to have a little meal. We're going to come back and we'll slip right back into the Natural Studies Institute.
Erland's the jerk of the town, apparently.
Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back in 15 minutes. And then we'll hop right back into it.
As badly as possible.
I want to see Orba's face during that moment.
I think you saw it.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
we were here.
Great, thank you guys so much. We'll be right back,
That's
and we'll
really
pick it right back
funny.
up.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
He like thought.
liked that finesse there.
And we're back. Welcome back, everybody.
Oh man.
And we're inside the Natural Studies Institute, where Orba and Erland have been talking with some of the staff there. And the human woman is sort of leaning over the countertop. Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Why did you do it? Grimari said he'd already agreed to recommend you to the halls. And you told on him anyway. So I'm asking you why, just out of curiosity.
Is Marvin Bishop really sick?
And you see her face kind of drop from the excitement of this sort. Ah, yes, he is.
With what?
We don't know.
Are all Grimari's possessions still with Marvin?
As far as I know. Adept Ethan, who you just spoke to, is closest to Marvin. He checks in on him. Part of his duties. I haven't seen Marvin in maybe a week now.
What's your name?
Adept Melody.
How long have you been here, Melody?
Probably just under a year.
So you never met Grimari?
No, he was gone before I got here. But there's a picture of you in his old office.
He had an office here,
He did, yes.
and he framed a picture of me.
I wouldn't say framed,
Threw some daggers at it, perhaps?
perhaps.
I did it because I don't believe that anyone should achieve success on the heels of others.
You didn't feel like you were doing the same.
What I was doing was right. What he was doing was not.
Well, look, I'm concerned about Marvin. I am. But I'm not willing to lose my job by giving information to the wrong person
Of course.
unless it was for the right price.
And what would the price be to see Marvin? Can Marvin still speak?
Like I said, I haven't seen Marvin for at least a week now. So the last time I saw him, yeah, he could speak.
So you'd be willing to get us in for the right price?
Getting run at by crazed myconid addicts, coming, smashing windows, trying to get into our labs. That's not what I signed up for.
Of course.
And she reaches up and she sort of pulls down the neckline of her robe, and you can see sort of a big purple and yellow bruise right around her collarbone and a little lower. Got bashed in the collarbone with a candelabra. He didn't even hesitate. But I've little money put aside. 300 gold to walk away. Sounds about right to me. And it comes with a stairwell key. The back of the Institute. And it leads right up to Marvin Bishop's lab.
300 gold, and you leave this place entirely?
Yes.
Where will you go?
Took 2 first, but I imagine I'll want to get further away than that.
And when would we be able to get in with this backdoor key?
How quickly can you get the money?
Very.
Tonight, then?
And there's no other way up.
Not unless you can convince Ethan to let you in.
That seems unlikely. Does he recognize me, do you think?
Not sure. He might and might not have said something. He's been a little preoccupied.
Where's this back door?
It's at the back of the Institute. There's a set of double doors, iron, and then a wooden one. You'll need 2 keys. I have both, or at least access to both.
How do we get you the money?
Meet me somewhere after I'm done working here.
When do you get off?
9 o'clock.
Where would you like to meet?
Well, I usually go to the Scale House, but I'd actually rather go somewhere where people see me less. So why don't we say the Water Lily? One of the other pubs in the Moon. And on your map, this is another one of the 11s. It's the one closer to the market square where you see 4, 3, 6, 7, 10 there. That purple one down in the, or up in the corner there.
keys and we'll bring 300 gold, you said?
Yes,
Bring the keys.
I will.
Thank you.
Make sure that Marvin's okay. He's a good man, but his research is dangerous, as if you know anything about myconid extract.
He's still researching myconid extract.
He has been for some time.
I heard he had a falling out with Grimari,
I heard the same.
so it wasn't over myconid extract.
Not sure. Might have been on how to use the myconid extract. Like I said, I wasn't here.
What else do you know about Marvin? What else do you know about Grimari?
What do you want to know? I know less about Grimari than I do Marvin.
What does he want right now? We haven't seen him. What did he want before? What was he working on?
I think he was working on using myconid extract as a way to regrow limbs, healing properties. The extract accelerates a number of cellular growth within the body. He thought that it had a lot of potential, military, healing, things of that nature. He was working with an associate of his, Adept Najaro. Najaro has since left, I think.
Where did he go?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen him in over a month, but I don't remember exactly when he left.
But he's in Mukmu, typically.
Maybe. Yeah. He was staying here at least for a time. I don't know if he's a permanent resident.
All right.
What have Marvin's studies been focused on recently with the myconid extract?
That's what I was talking about.
Regrown limbs.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Grimari.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry about that.
I'm not sure what Grimari's up to these days.
Got it.
A lot of rumors.
Thank you.
And the sort of pounding at the kind of stops, and at that she kind of, without the cover of the sound, she starts to I should.
If you can, bring the picture from Grimari's office.
I'll see what I can do.
Erland smiles at her and turns to go.
She turns back to her.
I exit.
Sure. And you hear that clashing behind. You guys are back out in the courtyard, sort of on that clay, gravelly surface outside.
Well, Jamie.
Yeah, that didn't go quite as expected, but honestly not as badly as it could have.
I would agree. Yes. So we know that people can recognize you now.
What do you mean?
I mean, there's photographs of you that people can identify you.
Hopefully not for long.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything illegal.
I'm not trying to say that you did. I'm just saying let's be careful when we're in this world because apparently you're well known.
Believe it or not, I am always careful. How much gold do you have?
Why?
We're going to need to get 300 gold somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I have some.
Yes.
Are you interested in participating in this further?
Let's see what the group has to say, I suppose. Or are we not? We're not telling them. I know we're not telling them. I'm sure we're not telling them.
Honestly, it depends on how much gold you have. Or how much gold you're willing to follow this with, I suppose.
Do you need this?
I actually think we need this.
I have a lot of gold.
I have 98.
I have 224.
Oh my god. What the fuck?
Well, I actually leave this up to you. We can ask the group for money, for gold, and whoever wants to put in can come with. Or you and I can go together. We have 300 between us.
May I sit on it for a moment?
Yes, of course. I have one more errand I'd like to run. Would you like to come with me on that?
Where are you going?
I'm going to the Othmar house.
What's that?
You weren't there. You don't know him, actually.
What do you mean?
You never met the man.
Yes. Who is it?
One of the men who died in the explosion at the crossing.
Oh. Okay.
I said I would swing by.
That's right.
I will go with you.
Alright.
That's very honorable, Erland.
Is there anyone around me? Like, are there people walking past? Or?
You guys are sort of crunching along the path out of the...
I assume there's like people walking around.
Yeah.
Could I sort of, someone who looks like a local?
Sure, there's a number of people.
Yeah, if I could just sort of, excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the Othmar house. Lady Othmar.
I don't think she's a lady, but yeah, I know the Othmars.
Yeah, where would her house be?
And he starts to describe it to you. And that he meant as a title, not as like, she's no lady.
I was like, what has she gotten into?
She's the rat fuck
It's
of Mukmu.
15.
Yeah.
So
She's
what?
about to
It's
fuck the
15.
rat.
Great.
The little one at the edge of the wall.
Oh, there is one.
Where is that? Great. That's where I'm heading. Is that near it?
It's the little
15's
orange
over-
one.
Yeah,
the
great,
edge
great. Yeah, I got you. Oh, great. Nearish. Yeah, I'm gonna head over in that
You guys
direction.
start to move in that direction. We'll move over to the Broken Crown station. Where Graven has sort of followed the instructions, and you move past sort of some of the thick walls in the entrance that you guys came through. You guys came through this part when you first sort of moved in on horseback. And you moved into this walled-off section of the Sun District that appears to be reserved for military personnel, civil servants, small crowds of people with yellow robes, banded black belts. And you see some people with black robes and yellow belts. They seem to be possibly the sort of militia guard force for the Moon District. They have these sort of alternated robes denoting sort of where their jurisdiction lies. And you see among them also a smattering of purple sleeves. It seems like there's at least a couple Broken Crown people here as well. And there's a few rows of similarly sized rectangular buildings that have the look of barracks, mess halls, things like that. And there's one sort of more central structure that has a few non-uniformed people moving in and out of. And there's a few flags raised, flapping kind of lazily in the morning, afternoon breeze. And the clacking of hooves on cobblestone surrounds you with horses and carriages kind of moving in and out. And as you get closer, you see an arrowed sign that says Civilian Inquiries. And it has sort of a arrow pointing to an open door off to that sort of central building that you saw some of the people moving towards.
Yeah, make my way.
And it leads to this small chamber in the side of the building. It's a very, very small space, less than 5 by 5 feet. And there's two people standing in line at a barred window. It almost looks like a ticket booth, that kind of look to it. And on the other side of the window, there's a bald halfling with thick eyebrows and a scruffy sort of cleft chin. And it looks like he's weighing out a sum of gold. He's got a little scale and he's sort of... and it's sort of balancing out. And he sees it and he kind of scoops it up, puts it into a little pouch that he's sort of... and he hands it to the man across the window, sort of through the bars. And the man takes it. And he sort of takes a piece of paper that looks like maybe he completed a contract of some kind or turned in. And that man goes, and the next man goes up in line. So now it's just the one man waiting. And you hear them having a conversation. It seems like it's fairly brief. He might have asked for information, and that man turns and he walks away. So it's just you and the halfling man across the bars.
Greetings.
Yes, I'm Supervisor Hamza. How are you doing today? What's your name? Are you a citizen of Mukmu in good standing?
I am no citizen, I'm a traveler.
Non-citizens are given low priority for paid contracts, so the only ones available to you are long-standing contracts and emergency contracts. Do you understand and accept these terms?
I suppose.
Item 1, 5 servants have escaped from the halls of transmutation. 2 humans, 2 tieflings, and a tabaxi. 400 gold pieces per servant recovered. There's an addendum here that's been added recently. Some stolen items from the halls may be in their possession that could help you identify them. A gold locket with a portrait of a woman inside, a silver ring with a sapphire gem, a dagger with a crystal blade, and a small ceramic elephant with 2 diamonds in its eyes.
Excellent.
And he sort of moved a piece of paper to the bottom of the pile. Item 2, an iron chest was stolen off a merchant wagon in the Chike woods off the road to Tuktu. It was reported stolen by dryads, and the reward is pending the condition of the items returned, but there is a 100 gold base guarantee.
Dryads.
Right. Yeah, he said the Chikte Woods, Chiqtay, and that's the there's on the road between Mukmu and Tuktu. You would know this as some of the land. There's a woods that is on both sides. They sort of cut through this forest to make a very sort of streamlined path between Mukmu and Tuktu, and sort of the woods on both sides is the Cheektail Woods.
And dryads are like wood beings.
Yeah, like woodland creatures. Yeah, like humanoid woodland creatures. Yeah.
Cool.
And item 3, stop wasting your time here, Graven. These insignificants don't know where it is, and this place is filthy with heathens. Hello?
Thank you for your time.
I'm sorry.
All right, I didn't finish the third one. Do you want to hear the whole thing?
Yes.
Any sort of... Item 3, Gravekeeper Yannick's looking for someone with magical expertise in dealing with restless undead and the agitated spirits. He can be consulted for further details at the cemetery of Mukmu. He's offering 25 gold with the potential for more, pending satisfactory service.
Thank you. I'm just gonna walk out.
Sure.
Just gonna make my way to the square.
Okay.
General
Head back to
goods
the square. Sure. And we'll move over to
Oh, golly.
the general store. The property of the general store can be spotted from blocks away. It sort of has, when you sort of asked about where it was, someone described it as the shop with all the signs out front. And they weren't kidding. Stacked one on top of each other on these tall wooden posts is sort of littered throughout the yard. The owner has put up dozens of what look to be positive reviews of his business. There's sort of, I only come to Hayes on one of them. Another one says the best selection and the best prices. Another one says good standing guaranteed. And there's a number of these. There's at least 10 posts, each with 3 or 4 reviews on each of them. So it has this like forest of reviews as you get to the front. And opening the front screen door of this home, or not home, of this shop, you see this spotless interior, not a single item out of place, and there's even a white fur rug that is void of a single scuff mark, even though people probably come in and out of here all day long. And there's a tiefling man who's adjusting a rack of mining picks that are sort of, there's a nail on the wall that they're all lined up against, and he's sort of aligning it so that they're all straight down the side, and the handles all line up perfectly, and he seems satisfied, and then he picks up a duster, and he sort of returns to dusting some of the shelves. And he hears the door open as it comes in, as you guys come in. Shoes off, please. Shoes off.
Of course.
Sure.
How are you?
Thank you. And welcome to Hayes and Things.
Nice to see you.
I can't.
Yep.
My shoes and putting them by
What's
the
your
door.
name, sir?
I am Hayes.
Nice
And he
to meet
gives sort
you.
of a little bow.
Very impressive shop you have here. Very clean and tidy.
Yes, I try to keep it that way.
I see.
Is there something I can help you find?
Yeah, I was interested in a few things. Do you have parchment and just quills anyway?
Yes, we do. We have parchment and quills. And he sort of walks you over. There's a couple of drawers that he sort of pulls out that have a number of, let me get just the prices of those. Yeah, so each, like a piece of parchment is 1 silver.
Okay.
So you can buy as many of those as you want. And then he has a pen.
Would I know if that's like overpriced at all? Like a single piece of parchment?
I mean, it's nice
silver?
paper. It's not like sort of
Okay.
cheap paper. I mean, it looks like freshly sort of made, pressed. So,
Okay.
as opposed to like a scrap, like, yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Okay. And how much are the quills?
Quills are 2 copper a piece. They're pretty cheap.
Okay.
Yeah, these are lovely. I think I'll take 2 pieces of parchment maybe and a quill.
Just 2 pieces of paper? Sort of picks up 2 pieces of paper.
Not much of a writer, but I do have a note I'd like to send you.
You'll have our needs.
Yeah,
He hands it
thank
up.
you.
So that was how. Sorry.
Just 2 silver?
Two
And
silver
did you
each,
get
right?
the
So it's
pen
4.
too?
Yeah, and the pen.
No, each one was 1 silver.
Oh,
so,
each one was.
yeah.
Oh, right.
And then the pen was just 2
I would have
copper.
been very overpriced.
So,
Yes.
how are you?
Excellent.
Great. Do you have any antique game pieces? Chess?
And he sort
checkers?
of seems to give a good think. No.
Great.
We have playing cards and dice. No chess.
Interesting. Do you know any place around town that would?
And he thinks for a moment.
Haven't played in a while. I want to get back into it.
No.
Amazing. Thank you.
Would you happen to have any wigs or dresses?
No.
Cheers.
What is the most popular item that you sell here?
And he sort of leads you around the shop. I mean, there's a lot of standard things. There's backpacks, bedrolls, map cases, chains, crowbars, climbers kits, flasks, hammers. I mean, any sort of basic, general goods. Again, there's ink, there's paper, lanterns, pouches, shovels, whistles, tents.
I need ink, don't I, to use my quill? Okay, how much is the ink? I'll buy some ink too.
A 1 ounce bottle of ink is 7 gold.
7 gold?
Ink is pricey.
Yes, okay.
Who are you writing to?
Well, honestly, I just want something that I can write with so that I can write, because it's been like 3 times now that I've not been able to write something down and I wanted to. And it's very frustrating.
You can't just go through the world stealing ink everywhere you go.
Darn it.
Very frustrating. So I'm gonna buy
Sure.
the thing of ink. It's 7 gold.
So you lived here long?
Yes. My shop and my reputation are very important to me.
So I guess you're in good standing.
I am, yes. A couple of months ago, I almost dipped into poor standing and I would have to sell my shop, so
Oh.
since then I've been on my best behavior.
What happened?
Oh, well, and he sort of looks around to make sure no one else is in the shop. There was sort of an incident.
Oh.
Things that go boom have always fascinated me, ever since I was a child, and I was not brave enough to be a military man. I tinkered away on my own. I would make small explosives, and one of these times I sold an explosive to a friend, and he dropped it near the reservation center, which caused a bit of a panic. So I was docked quite a bit of standing, and I was told that I could never craft any more inside of MooMoo.
This friend of yours, is he often clumsy?
I wouldn't say usually, but,
He dropped it by the reservation centre.
yes.
What was he doing by the reservation centre?
Well, the reservation center's in the middle of the square.
Right.
Just passing by.
It didn't blow up inside the reservation center. I don't think it was on purpose, if that's what you're implying.
I guess he's in bad standing.
Yes, he's not actually a citizen, so he didn't have standing, but if he applied for it, I would imagine that would go negatively on his record.
Oh no. Where's he from?
He's a friend of mine from Chupa.
Interesting. What's his name?
Sanderson? Do you know him?
Don't.
No.
Do you have friends from all around?
Some, I suppose.
Do you happen to know Quentin Finn?
I think I've heard the name, yes. A rather outspoken critic of the rating system.
Yeah.
We've heard.
I don't know him personally.
Do you feel critical of the rating system?
Oh, no, I don't think so. Why do you ask?
Just curious, there seems to be, I don't know, it seems like there might have been a lot of accidents happening recently.
A lot of accidents?
No, just there's been some ruckus, hasn't there, being raised by Quentin?
Yes, some people are unhappy with how things are going, but...
And there's been also news of possibly fighting undead in the cemetery, being restless.
Not sure I know about that.
Oh, interesting, no one's mentioned that to you.
No.
Right. Just rumblings that we've heard as we've been passing through. Travellers, you know. I'm not sure that we need anything else. Do you need anything?
At the moment.
Sure, we'd like to come back to see you. We've got some other friends who might need some supplies, so we'll send them your way.
Well, please do, anytime.
Maybe we'll see you at one of the bars locally.
I don't frequent taverns very often, but perhaps.
Great.
Great.
Thank you for your assistance, sir.
Thank you.
And as you guys walk back towards the door, you notice what you didn't see before because it was on the wall as you were entering. There's a beautiful map of Antisuyu there, sort of up on the wall, that's sort of delicately tacked up on the wall. That has a nice sort of more detailed map than you've had before, and it has a sort of a well painted, well colored map.
Do you notice something off about it?
No. It's just, it looks more detailed than the one that you've sort of had available to you.
Sir,
Yes.
this map here,
Yes, it's
Where's-
very good.
Who made this map?
I made it myself.
Oh.
Bit of a topographer, are you?
Yes, I fancy myself one.
Yeah, so you've travelled a lot then.
I've at least consulted with a number of people who have. I like precise measurements, so you might notice, and he sort of points, that these lines on the map, they indicate each of them a quarter day's travel. It's a very accurate map in terms of distance between the major cities of Antisuyu.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. How much would you sell a map, I guess, for?
Considering the work involved, 20 gold?
Oh. Do you have other maps like it?
No, I'm working on a similar one like this, with the intention of selling it.
Go on.
Do you take requests for certain maps?
What do you have in mind?
Just, we've never been here before, so just wondering if you had any sketches or detailed maps that you've made of this land.
Is this not this land?
No, it is.
She means a Mukmu in particular.
Oh.
I actually did have a question for you, just as a local. Are there any areas that you might avoid in the Moon District, or no?
I don't really go into the Moon District much at all.
Oh, so you'd...
Low reputation types.
What does that mean, do you think, low reputation type? Sorry, I'm not familiar with the lingo, just I'm new.
Oh, it means under 70%.
But what does one have to do to get under 70%? I'm just curious.
Usually some sort of crime to dip that low.
Oh, really? What kind of crime? Stealing?
Stealing, tax evasion.
Oh, yes, the really horrible ones, yeah.
Well, murder as well, but we get less of that.
Well, hopefully. Interesting. And who tabulates these rating systems? You have politicians here, I assume.
Oh, and over at the reservation center they keep track of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was Lee Mellish herself that came up with the system.
Right, is Lee Mellish still working in Mukmu?
She has a home in Mukmu. I'm not sure if she's there. She travels around quite a bit.
And who's in charge here, would you say? Administrator? Or...
That would probably be Cedric Skens, Director of Reserves.
Right. And I'm sorry, I'm kind of asking this because I feel like Saphira would know maybe, like politically what the structure would look like here. Is this like a monarchy kind of thing in this city?
No,
or
there is sort of a... I mean, the reservation center, the sort of militia military, they keep an eye on every... I mean, there's a few...
Is there like common law? Like, is there any kind of like...
there are laws.
Constitution and like that? Like
there are
you know
laws,
what I mean?
yeah. I mean, that stuff would get kept track of. I don't think you know those people. I mean...
Yeah.
The sort of important people, Lee Mellish, Cedric Skens, they are all... There's probably others that get together and, you know, if there needs to be a change or something like that.
The elders.
And Lee Mellish has a house here. Is that someone who's actively in power? Would I know that? Like...
So, was she here for the... Was Saphira there for the conversation that Jillian had with you where she mentioned Lee Mellish for the first time?
Yeah, because that was during the Lakafuyu ceremony, correct?
Yeah, so Lee Mellish she fought in the war.
Yes, I'm vague.
Yes, and she was a resident of Mukmu, and Mukmu was sort of a lawless, disorganized place that was very, it was really rough, and her and a number of ex-soldiers from wartime sort of came up with this system as a way to whip it into shape, you know, to sort of organize it in a way that sort of kept people in line.
I for some reason thought it was like hundreds of years ago.
I feel
I
like
she fought in the war, which ended 20... Right. She's probably old at this point, but she's,
I feel like I keep asking this, like, who's making the check box saying, like, this person murdered someone, therefore they get dropped 40%?
There is a law enforcement system.
Law enforcement that does that, okay.
Yeah, maybe over near where the broken ground... Yeah, where the military was. Yeah, there's local law enforcement.
And I'm assuming someone has a piece of paper with... murdered -5, you know.
Yeah, those ledgers that you saw at the reservation center, they keep track of any changes in your rating. No, that's okay. Any changes in your rating system would be on record.
Okay.
That's why nobody can just go in and look at it, but you could
because
be like, request this guy, can you tell me his
Yeah.
number?
Sir,
Yes.
is anyone still at 100%?
Oh, I think there's quite a few at 100%, yes.
Oh wow, how lovely.
Yes, if you've never had any run-ins at all. Yes.
Do they have certain advantages?
No, I don't believe so. If you're above 70%, you're good standing.
Perfect. And you said you'd say Cedric is the one that's mainly in charge right now?
Yes, he's director of reserves, which means he's in charge of the local militia and law enforcement.
Who would be his second in command?
I think he has a number of lower officers. I don't know if there's one particular second in command.
Got it.
Uriel keeps the records, but he's not in charge of the actual law enforcement.
I see.
Well, thanks for all the information. We
Yes,
appreciate it. Sorry, I know we've asked quite a few questions.
No,
We're
that's
just trying to get
quite
the lay of the
all right.
land.
And if you're interested in a map, you said you might be interested in me.
Yeah, we might come back by.
Sure. Yes, of course.
You said each line is a quarter day's travel.
Yes.
Interesting. All right.
Assuming you have some kind of carriage, horse, something. On foot, it would be a little longer.
I see. Well, thank you.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
And he goes back to sort of working on some things. Door closed behind you guys.
Well, no one seems to like the game of chess in this town.
Yeah, it seems like we don't have very many players here, which I'm not sure what
I'll
that
have
might mean, if anything. But
Better luck in backdoor areas, I feel like.
you might want to try to find if there's anything similar to the basement that we found in our Chupa. If there's any kind of place that does any that deals in any black market goods, we might need to know about it anyway. So maybe we should go to the moon and ask around. Should probably meet back up with the group first, but
I'd say so.
Where are you guys at?
we didn't settle on a place to meet, did
No.
we? Yeah, this was dumb.
I mean, Graven said he would come find you around
the market,
the
yeah.
market area, yeah. But he has not returned yet.
And the market area is still in the sun.
Yeah, you guys are in the market area. Yeah, that. The general store, the magic store.
Time isn't frozen or anything, is it?
No, not as far as you can
Not
tell.
right now.
There's the Trinket store.
But you guys can think for a second, and we'll move over to Erland and Orba, who you guys headed to the Othmar residence. Great. So you guys move, and it's sort of tucked away, as far as the man's description, tucked away in a little section where the houses are more crowded. They're very close together, and the streets are a little narrower. And you sort of navigate your way through. You have to ask one or two people, and they sort of direct you in the correct direction. And you get to the sort of end of the street, and there's a little simple house. It's not run down or shabby, but it's, simple. And there's a door there, simple door, 2 windows, and a sort of sloped on one angle roof that goes down to one side with a simple sort of clay kind of roofing tiling on the top. And as far as you can tell, the people around here have directed you to this residence.
This isn't going to be easy.
I don't know what you're about to do.
Her son died in the explosion. I said I'd swing by and...
Inform them?
or something like that, yes. So give the door a knock.
You listen for a little bit, and it seems like there's a little, shuffling, someone getting up out of a chair. You hear some quiet footsteps, and opens up. And there's an elderly woman there, sort of, maybe in her, not old, in her early to mid-60s, graying hair, and she has sort of a shawl draped across her shoulders, sort of a simple tunic, and she looks at you. Oh, yes, I don't believe I know you.
Are you Miss Othmar?
I am, yes.
Can I speak with you? Can we speak with you briefly?
Oh, sure.
We have some bad news, and perhaps I should come in and chat.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Yes, please. And she lets you in. She lets you into this sort of simple sitting area. There's a bench and a fireplace. It's not running at the moment. There's no fire in it. Please sit.
Thank you. You are Tatum, Othmar's mother, yes?
Tatten Othmar's my son.
Tatum, yes.
Yes.
Sorry, forgive me.
Oh, yes.
I did not know him well, but I did. I was lucky enough. We were lucky enough to meet him briefly he works at the crossing, yes?
Oh, I'm so glad.
Do you have a good relationship with your son?
I do, yes.
All right. We fought alongside Tatten at the crossing. There was...
There's not much fighting there anymore.
I know. There was a barbarian attack at the crossing. And your son fought bravely alongside of us.
No,
I'm
sure you're mistaken. I saw Tatton just yesterday.
This happened more than a day ago, didn't it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
I saw him just yesterday. I'm not sure what you're describing.
Where did you see him?
He was leaving for the crossing.
He came to visit you yesterday.
Yes, he was staying with me for some time.
He'd been here and then... He'd been staying with you and then went back to the crossing?
Yes.
Oh. What did your son look like? What does your son look like? Maybe I'm
And she describes him. The description sounds fairly accurate to the man that you saw, as far as you can tell.
You are saying your son was in Mukmu 2 days ago.
Yes. Can I get you something to drink? A tea or...
Does that seem true, what she's saying?
Make an insight check.
What is that?
This isn't the
12.
12. As far as you can tell, she doesn't give you any indication that she's lying, certainly, or mistaken in some way.
I would love some tea, yes, thank you.
Of course. She sort of shuffles off into the other room. You can hear sort of...
Can you detect magic of any sort?
I would take me...
If I stall for 10 minutes, can you detect magic?
Yes.
Either the Tatton that I met was not Tatton, or this isn't his mother. And
Yes.
I'd like to figure out which one it is.
Okay, are there bathrooms in this
There would be an
world?
outhouse.
How far away?
We would be
typically is an
outside.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like in the back of the house, typically there's some kind of outhouse, or unless you're using like a chamber pot in the residence, which you wouldn't know where that was, but
Right.
there might be like, you guys probably saw this on your way, there's probably a few
Yeah.
public outhouses that a number of homes share.
Oh, okay.
So it would be like a little down the street, but not far. There's a number of these stations throughout
As
the
I
city.
look around, what else? Are there separate rooms for things? Is it just kind of one open space?
There's at least a kitchen that she walked into. She walked into a different room, and it looks like there's a small staircase that goes up to a second floor, or at least an attic of some kind.
Why don't you go and meet her in the kitchen while I stay in here and try to cast the spell?
Alright, how long do you need?
10 minutes.
I can talk for 10 minutes.
You sure can.
And then I go into the other.
Sure. You walk into the kitchen. Very simple kitchen.
Oh my god.
There's a little oven and a small table that looks like it has. It looks like it has some vegetables that are cut. There's like half of a carrot is cut, and then the other half is not. And she turns as she hears you coming in, and she turns. Oh, can I help you?
I thought I'd come and help you make the tea so that you wouldn't inconvenience you.
I'm sorry. Do I know you?
No. You just let me in a moment ago.
Oh, you a friend of Tatton's?
Yes,
She's sick.
I am.
Oh, let me get you some tea.
Thank you.
And she turns back to the top.
Can I sort of lean back out to Orba? Can I see
Orba's
her?
not looking at you. She has
Oh.
to focus, right?
Where are you doing this?
I'm doing it in the living room.
Like in the living room?
first
Sure.
work.
Yeah.
Or like,
I mean, he could snap you out of it, or yes.
Oh,
if
yeah,
you
no,
if you
or
just gave her a look, she wouldn't notice.
Okay,
you.
great. If she's going to get me tea, excuse me while you're making the tea.
Yes.
I'm gonna walk out back to the living room to Orba and sort of jostle her.
Hmm.
I believe she has some sort of dementia.
Oh.
She didn't recognize me just now.
Oh. Do we need to get her help?
We can perhaps ask if people know about it, but I don't quite know what else to do. I'm gonna go back into the kitchen.
Sure. And she turns.
Oh, excuse me. Are you Miss Othmar?
Yes.
Oh,
Are you a friend of Tatton's?
Yes, your door was unlocked.
Oh, I am forgetful sometimes.
Your son works at the crossing, yes?
Yes. He just left for there yesterday.
I fought alongside your son.
Did you?
Yes. On the way here.
Not much fighting at the crossing these days.
There's not, no. But we did fight some barbarians.
Oh.
Your son is the most impressive warrior I have ever seen.
I'm so glad to hear it.
It was an honor to fight alongside of him.
Well, if you see him again, tell him I'm so proud.
I will be sure to do that. You've raised a wonderful boy, Miss Othmar.
Can I get you some tea?
I'm all right, thank you. We fought alongside some other less fortunate soldiers.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yes, it was a very difficult battle. And I was given some names from some dying men to ask for relatives in town. Do you know the town well?
I think so, yes. I've lived here for quite some time.
Do you know a Marissa, an Yvonne, or a Wesley?
There are a lot of Marissas. Yvonne doesn't sound familiar to me. But Wesley, he runs the bauble shop over in the market.
What's the shop called?
The bauble shop.
The bauble shop.
Jewelry and things like that.
Does he have a mustache by any chance? A large mustache?
He might. I can't remember his facial hair specifically.
All right. Yvonne, you don't know any Yvonnes?
No.
Marissa, the soldier mentioned she might be some sort of mage or sorcerer of some sort.
Oh, I don't know Marissa like that.
Are there any mages in town or wizards in town?
Perhaps, but not my cup of tea.
Of course.
Can I get you a cup of tea?
I'm all right. Thank you, Miss Othmar. It was lovely to meet you. Thank you for your hospitality.
You as well. She turns. She moves back to the kitchen.
And
You sneaky half-elf.
we're gonna walk. I'm not gonna say anything to that. And we're just gonna walk out.
Sure. And as you walk out, the door kind of opens, and you see across this narrow street, there's a man who's kind of tending to his yard. He's sort of digging and putting some sort of small flowers that he's sort of lining this flower bed. And he kind of sees you guys as you come along, and he looks up for a second, and then he sort of looks back down.
Gonna go over to him. Are you Do you live here, sir?
I do, yeah.
So you know Miss Othmar then?
I do, yeah.
Is someone keeping a close eye on her?
We keep an eye on her, yeah.
Did you know what's your name?
Drake. And yeah, news of his son already got here.
Oh, okay.
How? From who?
Ryder came up.
Who was the rider? If you heard there was no one left at the crossing.
I volunteer at the militia, and one of the militiamen told me.
So you didn't see the rider that informed?
No.
We were at the crossing as well, and I was just going to let his mother know, but it seems sort of hopeless. I assume she's already been let know a few times.
We told her, yeah.
You all collectively watch over her? Or?
Everyone on the street knows Mrs. Othmar.
Good. I'm so sorry for your loss if you knew Ted.
I did. It wasn't close, but he was a good man.
He fought valiantly.
I'm sure he did.
I'm sorry. Again, sort of...
He goes back to his work. Doesn't seem to engage in the conversation.
Yeah.
Good job.
Should we, it occurs to me, should we swing by the, Natural Studies Institute to see if our message got to him in the first place? See if, a deaf Ethan has come back with the message?
If you want to go back there, yeah, we can.
The worst he's gonna do is swear.
Recognize you?
I suppose that would be the worst, yes. How did you go in?
He doesn't like me. I put my foot on his desk, but I can try.
Yes, but we'll see if Marvin Bishop responded well to the note.
Okay. He also, I mean, you can check. He also said he would give him the note when he was feeling better.
Oh, okay.
So you don't know that he went right off to the note.
Never mind then.
I mean, it's possible, but yeah, he said if he's feeling better, a little bit better, or when he's feeling better.
Well, I would like to pick up a few supplies, but other than that, should we go by the bauble shop as a group, perhaps?
Sure, yeah. I was hoping to meet up with Graven anyways, now that I know there's a few temples I'd like to visit.
Oh yes, of course.
Yes, would you like to come?
Sure.
Okay. Wow, I wasn't anticipating that response. Okay. Wonderful, let's go. Where were we meeting?
Let's go to we know that they were going to the market district. I would like to go to the market district as well, but hopefully we can all convene there.
I will follow you.
You guys head in that direction. And now Graven has sort of come from the Broken Crown station. And you meet up with Safira and Beezaura, who are, you spot each other across the square. Graven's nice and tall. You can sort of see over the crowds in general.
There he is.
Hey, how'd it go?
How was it?
Not very fruitful.
No?
No.
I'd say the
And
same.
how big was the presence of the Broken Crown? A bunch of people you saw over there.
It wasn't very overcrowded.
In terms of Broken Crown, there was only a small handful. There was a number of like local law, but not much Broken Crown. Yeah.
What seemed like the local militia were there, as well as very few Broken Crown, but
Any promising contracts?
no. Well, I guess we've already heard about the cemetery being.
Oh, there's a contract for that.
Well, the gravedigger Yarrick, he's asking for people who people who know magic well. To
I
come out of
could
the
be
cemetery.
wrong, but I think we might want to go down there anyway just to see what's going on. Because if it has anything to do with, I kind of don't think it's Black Lions because I doubt that they'd operate within the city. But I could be wrong. But something's clearly going on there, so
And
could
Yarrick
be related to.
might be somebody who would actually give us information.
That's the only thing that struck you.
I had
Yes.
Just asking.
I had an idea that maybe we should. I thought the boy I told you about, Johnny. I thought maybe he might be a good person to ask if I were looking for a black market. I'm not going to ask about Mike and an extract, but I think it might be good to know where black market goods are sold.
The 10-year-old boy.
Look, he's a pickpocket. Rather skilled one, probably. And if he can follow people, he probably knows more back alleyways in this city than anyone else.
Yes.
I mean, he's a 10-year-old boy, so I'm not sure how much we can trust him, but
I'm going to spend your time with a known pickpocket.
look.
I've only just now gotten a hold of a meager portion of gold.
Yeah, well, I can keep an eye on my pockets, I'm sure.
All right.
So where are you guys at?
I'd like to just check out a couple more of the shops around here. Couldn't really find anything at use at Hayes's. He had a pretty impressive map, though, if we need it.
Of?
And to sue you. So,
Soon.
look, if it's 20 gold, it might be worth buying if we plan on travelling further. It gives very detailed proportions and
Is it
trails.
recent? It's
Yeah, he says it's up to date.
just
I mean, we
finished
can
it
go back and
himself.
ask him.
Pretty scale of size as well.
I trust him too. If anyone's anal, it's him.
I'd like to see that. You've already been there? I'll go take a look and
Yeah, it's the neatest shop I've ever seen in my life. You'll be amazed.
Take your shoes off
Yeah.
take my shoes off.
It's bizarre. You're going to have to take your shoes off. At
when
the
you
door,
get there.
There's a white carpet. He doesn't
Right
want...
now.
Shoes off.
Give me a shoe, sir. He'll ask you to do it anyway.
We'll see about that.
I think we should agree when, if we can find Erland and Orba, we should agree on a place that we can meet back in case anything happens. Probably the inn, but just we should say when and where we're meeting just in case we get separated.
Well, if we get separated today, I'll probably go see the cemetery. What time is it now? It's probably noon.
Midday, a little after midday. Yeah.
Yeah, late this afternoon. I
Well-
might go see the cemetery.
Yeah.
You going to the shop probably won't take that long.
No,
Check out the
probably
map.
not.
So I'm gonna.
knows?
What are the other shops?
So the other one that you definitely know is Trinketry, which is
Right,
the
the pink
arcane
one,
shop. And did you ask about the bauble shop,
That
or
was-
they just were told about it? I didn't know if someone else
We
had it.
did,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, again, this is sort
Yeah.
of Market Square. So if you
When
were
he
going
goes
through
in
them,
there,
you
yeah,
might see it also.
As you go into the shop, I'm gonna just hop in the other. Meet you outside and.
I think I
If you-
might head over to the Moon District and look for this boy.
The Moon District right now?
Yeah, why not? I think that it's good to get a lead on some information. Maybe if that's useful to us, maybe we use it at night. Probably seems like if it's a black market, you can visit it at night.
Right. Not that it seems like it's a slum, but be careful.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sure I can take care of myself. I appreciate it. Yeah.
All right. You guys separate and you start. We'll follow Graven first because you guys sort of were just. You walk into that. You see the signs, kind of how you sort of look at them as you're sort of passing by.
Am I is it big enough that I'm not
Yeah,
into anything?
you're not knocking into them,
Okay.
but you have to duck a little bit through the doorway as you sort of come through, and he sees you coming through. Oh, yes, can I help you?
Oh, do I see that? Is the map like right there?
Yeah, if they described kind of where, you could see it over the top, yeah. And here, you can take a look at it.
Oh. Now is this? I don't know. Does anything stand out to me that I either recognize or don't recognize? Or...
No, so it seems pretty accurate. So again, it doesn't look hugely dissimilar to the map that you have,
Okay.
but it is very geographically accurate, like the proportions. Each hex is a quarter day's travel.
Okay.
Oh wow, yeah.
You saw it, that's true. This is an impressive piece.
Yes, it took me quite a while, but I'm happy to sell.
You made it yourself. How much?
20 gold.
18.
All right.
Very impressive.
Thank you.
What are these
Those are
markings
for
here?
my later that I'll tell you.
Oh.
He's like, I have no idea what
So
you're
like
but yes.
numbers, eyes, all that stuff.
Those are all for
okay,
so
that's
I
not
can
something.
reference it
Oh.
to you.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, no, it's good.
What happened there?
It looks
Okay.
like we froze a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
No.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, the bottom's frozen.
Is it frozen on the stream now?
Not yet, but we're
no.
delayed. Oh no,
Yeah.
we fix.
Yeah, it looks frozen.
Yeah,
on
we're
the
frozen
screen.
now.
1 second. Technical difficulty.
I'm gonna look at Matt.
Yo, OBS has been having a day
What's
today.
going on?
I don't
That's
know.
camera.
I think it's the
What are those?
Symbols? What does it mean? What is this phallic thing here?
There's phallic?
Take a nice look at that
I
map.
will.
Oh, you're nice. Okay.
Here, I'm
Oh,
gonna.
you're
Boom!
back.
Boom!
It's black. Well, no. Oh, yep.
Yay!
Now
Alright.
it looks good.
DM saved the day.
It's a close one.
Well, excellent. Thank you, and I'll hand over 18 golds.
Yep.
Do you have any armor pieces here?
You'd have to head over to the blacksmith.
The blacksmith.
Yes.
All right.
The
Near-
witty smithy.
Oh my god.
She's
looking out of the corner of my eye, like. Right. How about any jewelry?
You'd probably want to head over to the bauble shop.
The bauble shop. All right. Well, thank you.
Yes,
This is
of course.
excellent.
Come back anytime.
Yeah, that's it.
Great. And we'll head over to
18.
the to Trinket.
Okay.
And Beezaura sort of walks. You travel to the spot where you've been told that the arcade shop's located, and you come upon sort of a small shack that probably couldn't be more than 1 or 2 rooms large. Very small, with a stout stone chimney and a wooden porch that extends about 5 feet out from the front door. And there's a rocking chair on the porch, but neither of the 2 people that you can see are seated in it. One of them is a guard that has the familiar yellow garb, the sort of with the sun on it. And the other's a young human man that has a thick mop of curly hair, and he's got a leather kind of duster jacket that looks like it's stained with a number of splotches, chemicals, potions, something that might have gotten on it at some time. And the man in the duster, not the guard, sort of looks forward with this sort of 1,000-yard stare, kind of standing very still. And the guard that's stationed at the door is kind of eyeing him uncomfortably. And then he looks like he's standing post at the door. And the man's kind of standing there.
Hello.
Hello.
This your shop?
Yeah. I'm Widow. This is my shop.
Widow?
Widow.
Widow?
Widow.
Nice.
You can't come in at the moment. They're looking through my things.
Who are?
The gods.
Why?
A long time ago I did a bad magic thing. So to stay in good standing I had to agree to random searches of my shop. So they're looking through my things.
What was the bad magic thing?
And he kind of stays silent. And the guard, kind of seeing this conversation happens. Widow was illegally removing benefactor bands.
Benefactor?
Bands.
Bands.
Rings. Bands of the benefactor.
Ah.
If you've reneged on an important debt, you're given a band of the benefactor, which denies you services in certain places. They're government sanctioned, so it's illegal to remove them without proper authentication. Widow here was removing them. And Widow kind of like laughs a little bit.
You're falsely letting people slide by from their debts.
I guess so. I just like magic trinkets.
Oh yeah. You come from a long line of magicians.
No, just Widow.
Oh. How old are you, Badu?
22.
Young.
I guess so.
How long do these searches take?
Don't know. And the guy kind of like, we're almost done. And as this conversation's happening, there's sort of 2 guards emerge that look like they sort of come out and they give the man a look and they're like, they give each other a shake. Seems clean, didn't find anything suspicious. And the one guard that was talking to you sort of gives a little tip of the cap that he has. Have a good day.
You too, sir.
We do. Goodbye. And he kind of lets him go. You can come in if you want.
I'd like to.
And he walks in, opens the door, and you follow him in. And inside, there's very little room to maneuver between these large horizontal glass display cases. And Wedu sort of walks over to a stool on the far side and kind of hops up onto it. And he sits and he puts his hands in his lap. And he kind of stares out into the room. And his eyes kind of wander around the room, just looking over his stuff, making sure that the guards didn't put something out of place, break anything, sort of giving it a little look over. Feel free to have a look around.
Thank you. You get many visitors here?
Sometimes.
Do the guards ever steal things from you?
Not so far.
That's good.
Yeah.
What kind of, things you sell frequently?
Arcane stuff mostly. Crystals, orbs, wands, staves. I can identify magic items as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Any sort of, little trinkets? Special pieces?
Crystals, orbs, wands. Those are trinkets. Healing potions.
Healing potions?
Yes.
How much does a healing potion go for?
50 gold.
50.
Standard price.
You willing to negotiate at all?
No.
See about that.
Please don't steal my things.
I wouldn't steal from you, sir.
Okay.
What do you do for fun?
Magic stuff.
Could you identify if certain things were spirited?
And he sort of perks up at this. You have something magic for me to look at?
Not at the moment.
Oh,
Maybe in the future.
okay.
You play any games, Widow?
What kind of games?
Checkers, chess.
No.
Not many people like to have fun in this area.
Chess isn't very fun. Magic's fun.
Right. I have a few friends that like magic. Maybe
Okay.
They might be coming by soon.
Okay.
They're very interested in all of that.
Sure.
Oh, Widow. Yeah.
I'm Wadu.
Yes. Do you go to any of the pubs around here?
No.
Do you know anybody that is interested in the boring game of chess?
No.
Well, seems like I've really hit it again, huh?
Guess so.
Magic's not really my forte.
Oh,
Could you
probably
teach me
not a
any-
good place for you then.
Could you teach me anything?
What do you want to know?
Are there any spells for people who can't ever cast spells?
You'd have to buy a spell scroll. I don't sell them.
Great. Well,
They're illegal in Mukmu, at least in the sun. Too dangerous.
interesting. Well, I shall tell my friends about your shop.
Okay.
They'd be very interested. Thank you for your time.
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.
Oh my god.
And we'll move over to Erland and
Do I
Orba.
see them coming?
Yeah, you guys went back towards the square, right?
Yeah.
So you
They
probably
wind up on the
are sort of
trinkets.
reconnecting to them. They were going to the bottle shop, which is a different one, but
right.
they're very close by.
Which
so.
one did you go to?
She went to
Trinket.
Trinket Tree, the arcane shop.
Oh!
That's why I was.
Oh my god, okay, yeah, great, good.
Yep.
Great.
You thought that was the guy.
Yeah, and I was like,
This guy?
Criminal mastermind would do.
100%.
yeah. I was going for a ride that scene, let me tell you.
Yes, that was Trinket Tree.
Great. Yeah, heading to the
So yeah, you guys run into each other as you.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going with you guys?
So far, so good.
Yeah.
Is the general store visible as well from here?
Yeah, these are all very close to each other within the same sort of area.
Still have a few errands to run before I call it a day, I suppose.
Orba.
It's also
Yes.
like early afternoon.
Yeah.
It's not like
It's like 12:30.
Look, I might want lunch, alright?
it's probably like 1:30.
And a
Yeah.
siesta.
Orba, I just visited a very interesting man in Trinket Tree. I think you would find that shop very intriguing.
Yes, that's the arcane one,
Walking away from
correct?
this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bye, Erland. That's the
Well, like
arcane
it's all
one,
in the
right?
area, so.
Absolutely. They have wands and crystals and healing potions.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, I might pop in. Where's everybody else?
Graven is checking out a map over at the haze and things.
You'd be coming at it around this time as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
And I think
the
Safira
general
went over to the Moon District a little earlier than expected.
Oh, is she checking in on little Johnny?
She is very into checking on little Johnny.
Yes. Well,
Really into it.
Yeah. She thinks that he might be able to help us with finding certain people because he's really good at following and.
sure, and I'm sure he's mostly invisible to the people around here, unfortunately. That's a good idea. I'm glad she did that. I'm going to the arcane shop. Where are you going?
I was thinking of checking out the bauble shop. Maybe
Okay.
do all three, see if I strike out at all.
What are you striking out on?
Not many people like to play chess in this town.
Oh, well, I don't think they're going to be sold at shops.
You never know where the pieces may show up.
That's true. I really don't know much about this thing you're doing, so.
Figured I'd just try it out.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you. You too. Have fun.
Thank you.
So it's kind of a swirl of she goes this way, he goes this way, Erland goes this way, and you pass Graven on the way
Do I
out.
see her moving towards the bauble shop?
Sure. Yeah. Well, you were walking towards the general store.
So I don't see her like traveling?
Make a perception check.
22.
Yeah, I mean, you're sort of keeping an eye on the square in general, and you would recognize. So yeah, you see her heading in that direction. You don't know that that's where she's headed, but
Okay, I'm just gonna track where she's going then.
Sure.
If I see where the bauble shop is, I just want to make sure that.
you see her moving. I mean, the bauble shop's probably another block or two from here, so she's walking in that direction.
Okay,
she's not like about to walk in the door.
Okay. Actually, then, yeah, I'm gonna quickly divert and run over to her.
Okay. and
Graven sees you coming.
Graven comes out and he's like holding, and then he just sees her on going the other direction.
But it's really
I'm looking at myself.
Yes,
So,
where are
yeah,
you
running
going?
over to her.
Sure.
Where are you going?
to the bauble shop.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Why?
Are you going to ask for what I think you're going to ask for at the bauble shop?
I was just going to.
Given that it's jewelry and finery, are you going to ask for what I think you're going to ask for at the bauble shop?
Can I come up? I'm gonna
Sure, yeah,
eventually
please
make it up
go.
to you.
Just to see if they had any sapphires lying around.
Absolutely. I've been fairly unsuccessful. But what I do know is that the Wesley from our note runs the bauble shop, so we will not be asking him about chess pieces.
Where did you find out of that? Where did you find that information?
I asked an elderly old woman with dementia. It's
You can trust her answer.
I feel like I
On
have
that.
dementia right now.
things have not gone according to plan, but I visited the mother of one of the men who died at the crossing, and she's very old and not well, and so I also asked about a few of the names on the list. But Wesley from
The woman with dementia told you where to find Wesley from the note.
She has lived in the town for a long time. It seems that she's not retaining any new information, but she has plenty of old information. She thought her son had been staying with her recently. Her son hadn't been home in a very long time.
That is very sad.
Tremendously.
Tragic.
The point is that Wesley from the potential Myconid dealer Wesley
Right.
runs the bauble shop.
Okay.
So we're not going to ask him about chess pieces.
Oh, yeah, no, of course not.
Sure. Right.
I am going to go check out the shop, though.
You want me to come with you?
Sure.
Could I go in and just not ask?
If you... So, the less questions... In fact, my hope is that we just say hello to him, look around the shop, see what he looks like, and leave. We're not interrogating him.
I wasn't going to.
No questions about his personal life, no questions about how he's doing, no questions about what he likes to do for fun, no questions.
Surveillance only.
Sure. You say so, Erland. I will not ask the man any questions.
All right.
Right.
So do I even get to go inside?
Yes.
You can go inside and look around. We should actually... Should we go in separately?
I think
I don't know if that
We can all know
matters.
each other. We can all know each other.
matters
It's all right.
at
Okay.
all.
We're pretty...
Don't
It's a
overthink
motley
it, Erland.
crew, whether we're together
That's
or not.
true. That's true. All right.
So...
Oh, this is terrible. Let's go.
You guys move in that direction. We'll head over to if Orba's.
Yeah, they have it together. Oh my god.
Scolded.
We'll head over to Trinket Tree first, as you guys are walking over to the bauble shop. And you walk in and you see, as I described before, a very small shop, horizontal glass cases, a number of crystals, wands, magic items on display. And you see who we know to be Wadu sitting on the stool, sort of with his hands in his lap. Hello.
Hello, how are you today?
Good, I'm Wadu.
Hi, Wadu. I'm Orba. It's nice to meet you.
Hello.
My friend just recommended your shop to me.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, the halfling woman.
Yes, she was here.
Yes. You have a lovely little shop. You identify things, I'm told.
I do.
Yeah? Well,
You do.
you see, I have this, it's kind of a secret item. Are you good at keeping secrets, Wadu?
I'm okay, I guess.
Yeah? It's a fancy item.
And he sort of leans forward a little. Magic item?
Quite possibly, yes, I think Wadu.
I'd like to have a look.
Yeah? If you keep it a secret.
Okay.
Orba pulls out the ceremonial mask.
Okay. And he sort of, as soon as you pull it out, his eyes sort of widen, and like it's something he's never seen before. Oh, cool.
That's what I thought we'd do.
What does it do?
I don't know. I was hoping you could tell me. I would be very Wadu. Your curiosity would get the better of you if you just started fiddling with it. You should really identify it and be safe.
Okay.
Can you promise me that you'll only identify it and not play around with it?
And it, like, it literally, he's almost drooling with excitement, like looking at the item, and he's sort of, okay.
Can I hand it? I'm going to stay here while you identify it because this
Okay.
is a very important item to me.
Will probably take a couple of hours.
Yeah? Okay. I want to trust you with this item. It's, like I said, it's very important to me.
You can stay here if you want, but it's going to be a couple of hours.
Right. Okay. I hand it to him and I stay.
It's normally 20 gold, but I'll do it for 10.
Yeah, because you're curious.
Yeah.
I thought so. Okay, yes. Okay, 10 gold. Wonderful. I hand him the gold
Okay.
first.
Sure.
And while you get started, do you mind if I take a look around your shop a little bit?
Sure.
Okay, so
He holds his hands out.
again, promise me you are not going to try to
Okay.
with you. I need your word here that you are not
I
going
promise.
to let me finish, please, with you. Do not put this on, okay?
Okay.
Promise. I hand him the mask.
He takes it very delicately.
Okay.
And he sort of, he's handled magic objects before. He sort of places it on the counter. And he sort of holds his hand out. He starts to kind of feel the energy around it. And he seems like he's gone into sort of a process of figuring out what properties it might have.
Okay. Or about recognizing that he's starting to do like a ritualistic kind of thing, relaxes a little bit and starts to just kind of browse around the shop.
Sure, you take a look. Do you want to know what's in here? I mean, it's pretty standard fare that you can see.
Is it mostly just like focus items?
Yeah, there does appear to be a few items on the wall that are out of place for this kind of thing. There's like a couple belts and stuff, which seems odd. Possibly gives you the impression that they might have magical properties that you're not aware of. You can't ask him right now, he's sort of in the middle of this thing, but yes, there's items here that seem to not just be your standard,
Cool, okay.
arcane fare.
Any other things that would kind of like stand out, or I know he has healing potions and.
Yeah, he's got healing potions. It looks like there's a sign that's written that he also offers spellbook copying services. Like he'll copy a spellbook for you.
Is there like a price listed?
There is 50 gold to copy a spellbook.
Okay.
That includes materials, so you don't have to provide the materials. It says materials.
To copy an entire spellbook, not just like per spell or anything. 50 gold for.
50 gold to copy an existing one. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Orba's
Because
gonna...
they're just copying. The person is just copying your notations over. They're not like inscribing it with new spells.
Right. Yeah.
Not,
and they're not like they don't like
they're literally
ruminate on it.
No, they're literally copying over your writing.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Yeah.
Pouches, robes. I mean, yeah, standard stuff. Wands, orbs, crystals.
Cool. I'm gonna let him be for a little bit.
Great.
And I'm gonna camp out.
Great. And we'll head over to the bauble shop. And you make your way further over to the end of the main square, almost reaching the walls of Mukmu. You can see them sort of a couple block or two behind. And you find the bauble shop. And it breaks up a string of standard sort of rectangular structures, shops and houses. And it has this twisted cylindrical shape, almost like you grabbed a tube and you twisted it so it has almost like a slinky kind of shape to it. It has a sort of twisted, sort of swirling shape. And it has a roof of partially overlapping slats that come up to a point at the top. And this unique architecture seems almost foreign, as if someone was constructing it with either a vision of what things were back home or something they were inspired by a painting. Like, it looks very out of place given the architecture of the city of Mukmu.
Would I recognize the architecture by any chance?
You don't recognize it? No. The three of you do not recognize it. Like, it doesn't stand out at you in particular. Anything to say before you guys head in?
Are there windows?
There's a few windows, yeah.
Can we see in?
Sure, make a perception check. You're peeking through the window?
No, like not... Just like looking in through the window.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
like window browsing.
Sure.
Perception?
Yeah.
Roll browse.
10. And I mean, you look in and it looks like a display room that's dimly lit. You can see some like boards, slanted wooden boards, sort of leaned up against a wall with sort of dowels pointing out. It looks like there's amulets hung over them or rings or things. It's like a display board for items. That's all you can sort of see through the window from here.
All right. I'm gonna go in.
Great. And you open it up. And you see multiple of these. Now that you're in, you can see them sort of on both sides, sort of around this circular room. A number of slanted display boards with the dowels. One of them seems to be all amulets that are sort of hanging on chains, different kinds. One of them is all rings that have been like looped up to the top of the dowel. Some bracelets and other sort of jewelry, all kinds. And sitting at a small table, who looks to be in the middle of sort of polishing one of the pieces, is a half-orc man, whose dexterity in working on this item actually seems quite impressive, because he has these big muscular hands, and he's very carefully sort of passing it like a cloth back and forth through a ring to sort of polish the ring, and he's sort of carefully holding it. And he looks up as you enter. Oh, hello.
Hello. Just looking at your wares.
Please do. Let me know if you need anything.
I'm gonna look at the jewelry. Is
Sure.
there any are there any rings?
Yeah, there's quite a few
silver
rings.
rings.
Yes.
Any with a raccoon on it?
You do not see one with a roof on
Okay. Any okay. That's all then.
Okay.
Any platinum rings?
It what looks to be platinum, yes.
Yeah.
It looks like there's a wide variety of rings. Yeah.
Any sapphires?
There are some set into jewelry pieces, yes.
No chess pieces.
There are no chess pieces as far as you can tell.
I'd like to take
Looks like all jewelry on these boards,
Yeah.
as far as you can tell.
I'd like to just take a pretty-looking gold necklace and
Sure.
sort of hold it.
Yep. You can sort of hold it. The chain sort of pulls away from the.
Just sort of say to the man, can you describe this for me, please?
I don't think that one has any inscription on it yet, but I do custom engravings if you'd like something put on it.
Is there an example of a custom engraving in the store? Or?
I have a few, and he sort of opens a drawer in his desk, and he takes out a little sort of a thin pillow, like a pad, and it has a few sort of things displayed on it. It looks like it has a number of different insignias, and
These were requested, a few of them for people of different houses, religions, things like that.
Any of those have raccoons?
No, that's you can tell.
What
It's
are
a few
the-
different ones. A couple of them has animals. One has an elephant on it. There's one that has looks like a pair of people sort of shaking hands. There's like two people like shaking hands. There's a couple that have like suns and moon symbols on them. There's a couple that look like they have kind of religious insignias that you don't recognize right away. But it seems like a variety of requests. He will, sort of cater to his request.
So
hearing kind of that just at the corners, and hearing engravings said a couple of times, I'm just going to turn around and be like, "What's that? Did someone? Oh, I thought you called my name.
You are such a dork.
You didn't call my name?
No, looking at...
Oh, I thought I heard the name Graven. I'm Graven.
Okay. Wesley.
Wesley?
Yes.
Pleasure.
Of course.
Forgive me.
I was merely showing some of the custom work.
I'll just turn around and go back.
Sure.
Forgive me.
I'm standing like right around
Yeah,
here.
it's not a large room.
Yeah.
I mean, you could definitely.
Those are nice engravings.
Thank you.
They each mean special things to the people who get them.
Yes. Jewelry is not a luxury reserved for the rich. It's a way to express yourself. You can carry it with you to memorialize a loved one, pay respects to a god.
The animals are sort of family crests?
Sometimes, yes.
Cool. What are those there?
I believe this one, the Dillon house, family of the Dillons. He points to sort of an elephant. Silas Dillon was the one who requested this. There's a couple here that are symbols of the Lakafuyu. They have a church here in town. Requested a couple of custom pieces. And I think a couple of them are New Kelke symbols. Another church in town. Is there a particular one that interests you? I'm happy to make one for you.
No, I was just curious to see the wares. What's your name, friend?
Wesley.
Lovely. Thank you. I'll keep browsing.
Yes, please do. I will tell you, I can custom order any number of jewels, gemstones. I just don't keep them here at the shop for security reasons. Don't want to keep too much of value in one place. But if you want a specific gem, I can order it and have it set into one of the amulets, rings, anything of that kind.
Good, thank you.
Yes, of
I'm
course.
just going to continue browsing.
Sure. He kind of goes. He sort of sets them back in the drawer.
I'm going to spend like a couple minutes browsing.
Sure. Anybody else doing anything?
Just kind of like make my way to kind of like looking at things next to Erland.
Sure.
Like, did you find anything?
We should go.
Okay. Did you like my little trick?
With that, I'm just going to sort of like... I'm going to walk out.
Sure.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, please come back. You need some.
Is that good enough for you?
We're outside now.
Yeah.
It's not the lemonade man,
Why do you say that?
because he didn't have a mustache.
Oh. Could have shaved it.
I believe there's also a man, a human, the lemonade man.
Oh.
And that was very much
You sure?
folk. Right, that was what was said from...
Were you told that before I say anything?
by fucking dude with the plants.
But they said.
But did they say what?
said
I just don't
human?
want to say something that...
Hold on.
They said man, but that doesn't necessarily...
I'm gonna find it before you do.
Notes
Everyone scramble.
I probably didn't write that.
I'm pretty sure that he did say.
Just flip through and pretend like you're...
Yeah. Oh.
I'm like pretty sure I did say.
Yep. Human, tall, thin, thick mustache.
Oh, I did write that down. Human, tall, thin, thick mustache.
You all
Who'd have
get it.
thought that were helpful?
He is... That half
take
orc was
with
none of those guys.
Yeah. Well,
He's not
being
short, portly, no mustache.
not being the lemonade man does not mean it's not connected.
No, but it's just... that means... We just don't know what Wesley means, other than that he runs this shop.
And that he's connected with Marissa.
If we want, we That would be a terrible idea. I'm not even going to suggest it.
Go on, please.
If I think it's a bad idea, it's probably a bad idea. I was going to say we could stake out the shop and follow, but that's truly terrible.
Why?
Because we run a very high risk of being discovered.
I mean, I would stand out, but one of you?
That's far too risky.
Well, Saphira brings back the 10-year-old boy. Maybe we can use him.
What does he do?
He's just a very tricky, sly little boy.
I don't think he knows about a little boy.
Sorry.
There was a little boy.
We met a little boy when Saphira came back at the bar.
And what does he specialize in?
Nothing. He
Pickpocketing,
just
evidently.
pickpockets and scrounges for food. And he said he's very good at being undetected.
And Safira has taken to him.
Right. That might be worth something, but for the moment I think we should leave. I was going to pop by the general store to
I got a great map.
look for a map. You've got a map.
I've got a map, yeah.
I was going... Are there other maps? I was going to buy a map.
That's the main one that Graven got.
That's the one you saw hanging. Yeah.
I didn't really ask for more. I was
Are you
impressed by
willing
the Erland
to
trooper.
share the map with the group?
Antisuya one. Of course.
Great. Lovely. Then that saves me a trip to the general store.
Why would I hide or keep things? Withhold information.
Snap.
Got him.
Well, I did say I was going to accompany you and the Tiefling, so perhaps we should go to the... I would have seen her go to the magic
Trinket.
shop.
Yeah, you would have saw her going there.
Yeah.
Accompany us.
She said you wanted to see some temples.
Oh, right.
So I'm going to meet up with the Tiefling.
Let's go.
And you guys head in that direction. And we'll go over to Saphira. Where were you headed exactly? Were you headed to
outside the scale house.
the scale house.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so you head in that direction.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of my coin purse.
Mm-hmm.
I want to put it in my like bosom.
Sure.
My baubles.
I want to put it in my baubles. Yeah.
Your whole... Are you carrying around all the gold that you have currently?
Oh shit! I don't
That's
know.
that's a big...
That's a huge. I guess that's like I'd have like a third. I mean, maybe Saphira's
I mean, you
more well
could. It's
endowed
just
than I
you
am.
could. It just would be really obvious that you've put something there.
They're gonna be like,
Well, can I put it like? Can I tuck it somewhere less like obvious? Or
If
no?
it, I mean, you have a knapsack.
Yeah.
If it wasn't in the knapsack, anywhere that you stuffed it would create a bulge. So it would be obvious that something was there.
I can't put it in like my shoe or something. Can I put
It's
it in
too
my boot?
big.
It's too big.
Yeah, there's like you have. I can't remember exactly what the number is, but that's like a. They're gold pieces, so each one's like a.
Can I like jump them out
Can
and
I
like
put it
distribute
inside
them
me?
in a reasonable way?
something out of like
You'd look. Yeah, maybe.
Robin Hood.
I just don't want it in my back.
It would make noise.
Someone's gonna take it out of my backpack.
You want a cocaine
You
balloon
could
this
hold
thing?
it in your hand.
I guess I can hold it. That's worse though. Then I look like don't steal my money.
I mean, there's enough in there that it's
Saphira's
hard
just
to
standing here with
stuff.
the gold thing.
She's like,
Oh my god.
Wait, now you're making me paranoid. Was my measure of putting my cloak over my bag not enough?
but no, but I told you,
Yours
like
is
the
in your
cloak,
bag.
like
Noticeable.
there's an obvious bump. It's not
Yeah.
like, oh, that's money right there, but there's a obvious
It's my
bump.
whole bag.
Your money's
though,
in your
right?
bag.
Yes, but it's in the bag.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Hers is not in
Can I
her.
put my
She's
bag? Can I then
This
put
is
it in my
paranoid.
bag in my
Ladies,
knapsack?
ladies.
Tie
Yes.
my
She
knapsack
started it.
tightly, and then carry my knapsack in front of my body.
you can do that. Yes.
So I'm not gonna put it on like this, but
Yeah.
I can carry it in front of my body.
Sure.
We're like in Times Square.
So
right now.
It's a
and
Mukmu tourist.
I just want to look around and see
You
if
don't
I.
look like a local.
Well, sure, I don't care. But do I see Johnny?
You don't. You see
Okay.
the bar. You see the scale house.
Do I see a barn anywhere around?
Make a investigation check as you sort of look up and down kind of the blocks around the scale house.
Okay. 18.
18, yeah. So you take a look around, and based on Johnny's kind of vague description, you give a peek down a couple of the blocks, and it does seem like a couple blocks down there's kind of a larger 2-story sort of a domed house, and next to it what looks to be, you see hay sticking out and a couple of horses. It looks like there's a barn there, like a couple of animals around the sort of barn.
Okay, I want to move towards that area.
And you do. And as you get up to there, it seems like someone's tending to the horse. He's kind of brushing the mane of the horse at the moment. That's the only person that you see sort of on the property. But
Can I kind of wave to him?
sure, he's sort of.
Hiya. It's a beautiful horse. Who owns it?
Oh, it's mine.
Oh, wow. She's beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I was just wondering, I saw a little boy running through here. Do you know a little boy named Johnny?
No.
Now, have you seen little kids running in and out the barn at all?
Sure, kids come through here sometimes.
Would you mind if I peeked in? Sorry, I'm looking for a little kid that I saw running around. It's a weird thing, but I gave him some food. I want to make sure he's okay.
Make a persuasion check.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shut up.
16.
He sort of stops and... If you don't mind me coming with you, I just, it's my place. I don't want you...
Yeah, no problem.
All right. And he takes the lead and he kind of ties it off for a second and he lets you...
Alright, I'm sorry, and can I kind of walk up to the barn and just kind of peek in?
Sure,
and just
you
see
can,
if it
yeah.
looks like
I mean, he even sort of opens a little gate and he lets you step in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you
Do I
take a
see
look around.
any evidence that anyone's been sleeping here?
Make an investigation check for that as well. Like perception for that, if you're just looking to see if
Perception?
it's disturbed, yeah, by someone sort of.
Yeah, still nothing. 15.
15. So you look and there is sort of a small, short ladder that leads up to kind of a loft area in the barn. That, I mean, you can't really see what's up there, but it looks, if someone stayed here, they could stay up there. So that catches your attention. You don't see anything on this lower level that stands out of note.
Okay. Alright, well thanks. If you see anyone named Johnny around here, just let him know that he can find me. I'm around.
Alright. Yeah.
No, it's a bit odd, sorry. And can I kind of like give him like a nod goodbye and like kind of walk off towards. And so when I walk towards the moon.
So you move out for a little bit and you kind of look around and there's a moment and then you feel a tap on your shoulder. And it's the man standing there. And he gets close. Look, what do you want with Johnny?
Honestly, he's a kid and it looks like he's starving.
I know he's a kid. I know Johnny. What do you want with him?
Look, I've got a sister, alright? And if something happened, just...
You saying something happened to Johnny?
No, I'm just saying that he's an orphan.
Yeah, I know he is.
Why don't you seem to care?
I do care.
Okay.
I want to know what you want with him.
Well, I don't want anything suspicious with him. Search me. I don't want anything...
I want to search you. Look, I let some of the kids stay in the barn sometimes. So what? What do you want with him?
Look, that's kind of you. Nothing. I fed him last night. Just... I did want to know, and I thought he might know, because I know that he sometimes takes things that he ought not to.
He took something from you?
No, he didn't take anything from me.
I can see if I can get it back if he took something.
No, I'm not interested. He didn't take anything from me. I'm just wondering... Is there a place where he sells these things?
Look, I can pass a message along to him. You want to see him?
Yeah, well, he told me I might run into him if I came around here.
Go to the back of the scale house around 8. I'll see if I can get him to meet you there.
Alright, cheers, I appreciate it. I'll meet him then around the scale house at 8.
And he turns and he goes back to his barn. And with the swirl of people moving about, Mukmu sort of moving to their new destinations, thinking about where they're headed next, that's where we're going for the evening. As a number of leads and things begin to toss and turn in people's minds. Everyone with a little taste of something except for Beezaura, who's like, just Mukmu's the worst.
So hungry for information!
But think of how sweet it will be when you find it. She walks through the town square and there's a pile of just...
Julian's just like, here, I found these for you.
So that's where we're going to end.
Oh my god.
Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Wait, shout out to like a couple people who were so sweet and rated us. Lord Gasumba did,
Thank you so
Legends
much.
of Adventures did,
Yeah.
and then a new person, Dungeons and Dining Room, also rated us. So thank you guys. That's so
Yeah, guys, that's
wonderful
awesome.
and
Thank you
awesome.
so much.
And people who bidded and stuff. Thank you so much. That's so
I know we've
sweet.
watched a couple of those streams. I didn't know the third one, but Gasumba and Evantris, you guys are great. Your streams are
Yeah,
awesome.
I know. We have to watch Dining. They have like a bunch of streams.
Oh,
apparently.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, check out their stuff if you're unless you're coming from them, in which case, welcome and thanks for watching, and we'll be back next week. Yeah. The Adventures of Mukmu continue. Good night, guys.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Ooh, spooky. you.